Hello everybody! Hope you've been having a good 2026 so far. Yeah. So I mentioned last time that I'm not planning on streaming next week because AGDQ is happening and I want to watch stuff. Thanks for the first, Mario. So
Paper Mario 141 was first.
I decided to just try this little demo out. It's got 2 cases in it. I'm not sure how long they'll take. They will probably at least take a couple hours. And I've got some other stuff to check out on Saturday. But after that, after AGDQ, the plan is to start playing Tunic, and that's what we're gonna focus on. But for now, we're gonna try Staffer Case, which is like I guess it's a mystery type of game. I don't know if it's a murder mystery. They're usually murder mysteries though. So it's got 2 cases. We'll see how it goes. No trick, not trick, Patrick. An assistant from a small-town detective agency receives a letter from the Phenomena Bureau and heads off to London. And in case 2, creatures. The mutated results of Phenomena. An incident occurs at a creature breeding facility. Love these spellings. All right, let's see what's going on. You need your daily VL streams. What happens on the days when there's no stream? Yeah, do you have a VL deficit? Do not close autosaving. This game is a mystery game where you must uncover the tricks behind a number of murder cases. There are murders. Take notes for yourself and try to find the truth behind each case. London, 1967, 10:30, 1500. Oh, is this your first time? Looks like they're gonna speak in Japanese. I'm gonna turn down the voice volume then, because we're gonna probably be reading it ourselves for the most part. So we'll have them on in the background. You can see, you'll still be able to hear them, but I'm going to be reading over the text. Check clues. I can check clues already. Oh, I have a badge and a director letter. All right, let's see. Excuse me. I was just saying, this is your first time in London, no? It is. Wait, why do you ask? Ha, I knew it. Alright, so we gotta give them all accents. They're in London, so they've gotta have accents, right? I knew it. Now is it? How does it feel to take in all the London scenery for the first time? Well, I was just as astounded as it said it would be. I don't know where he's from yet. Hold on. Where is he from? It doesn't say where he's from. He's just in the London branch, but it's his first time in London. So, I don't know any other accents in Britain, sorry. Or in England. It was just as standing as they said it'd be. I guess he's this. Okay, the buildings, the smoky haze. Though I haven't seen Big Ben. Yes, indeed. She's important, Big Ben is. Though I'm afraid, young lad, you won't be able to get a good look at her from around these parts. By the by, that bag sure looks heavy. Planning to be here for a while. I'm here because I received a job offer. I imagine I'll be living here until I get fired. Oh! Rather young to be working. You must be something else, huh? When I was your age, well, that was at the height of the big war. I mean, back then. I figured taxi drivers in London would be the quiet sort. Did I grab the wrong one? What's the name of this new employer of yours? For another shilling, I'll take you right out to the front door of their building. That's quite alright. In front of the park will be fine. I mean, you're already paying for an expensive cab ride. What's another shilling? Most, like yourself, visit London the first time to try to find the way themselves, and before they know it, they find themselves lost. In more ways than one, you know? He's pretty much forcing my hand here. If I keep turning him down, he'll probably just keep pestering me. Well then, I'll place my fate in your knowing hands. The name of this place was... What's the name of that agency? I believe it was written on the letter I received from that man calling himself the Detective Chief Inspector. I don't know what accent I've given him, but that's the accent he has now. Where is he from? Alright, whoa, we're digging into clues, okay. Someone has posed the question, find the clues written, related to questions within the documents, then press combine clues. So, where's the two? Select the document you'd like to check from the list below to zoom in on that particular document. Select the clues you wish to use to enlarge the documents, then okay, we gotta combine clues, alright. Document, Notrix, employee badge. My official title is detective. In other words, I'll be an investigator in investigations. Rolls off the tongue, good cadence. Okay. Phenomena Bureau. Mystery solved. I'm so good. The Phenomena Bureau. I've had people around it call it the Bureau for short. You know where the Bureau is located, right? If you could take me there, I'd appreciate it. Understood, sir. Huh? What's wrong, sir? Something trouble you? Hi, Splats, how's it going? Happy New Year! How's 2026 going? Oh, no, it's just... You got real polite all of a sudden. Wait, you got real polite all of a sudden. Did you just forget to mind your P's and Q's at times? London traffic drivers always cart around their fares as if they were the Queen herself. I think I get it. Funny, really. Right when he heard me say the Bureau, his attitude shifted. The Bureau. According to the rumors I've heard, the Institute's reputation is far from a good one. To come all the way down to London after receiving a suspicious letter from a suspicious institution. Has been awake less than an hour. Oh, I see. I've been awake for just over 2 hours. I must be out of my mind. Yet, to be able to carry out an investigation in a city like this, Well, that's always been a lifelong goal of mine. Well, here, sir. The grey building on the left over there is the London branch of the Bureau. I'm living in the future. Thank you. You said that would be 1 shilling. Where'd I put the money I exchanged? I want to check the front pocket of your bag. The front pocket? Oh, it's all right there. How'd you know? Such things shouldn't come as much of a surprise if you intend to stay in London for long, that is. Huh? What was that supposed to? Have a great day, sir. I do believe you'll find the city isn't half bad a match for you. How do you know? Oh, we got logical! Exclamation point. Phenomena Bureau, London branch, 1967, 10:30, 15:10. Cabby is all psychic in Londonium. So this is the Bureau. This will be my place of work starting from today. Compared to the investigators back home, this place is just floor after floor straight up. If I tried to catch a glimpse of the top, I bet my head would be touching my back. Am I really going to be working at a place like this? It took me days to get here. But suddenly, going inside is the last thing I want to do. That woman. Is she looking at me? We definitely locked eyes. But she isn't saying anything. Or am I just imagining things? Nope, she's definitely still looking. Should I be the first to speak? You may speak first. Would you happen to have business with me? Indeed, I do. Then she should be the one to break the ice. I'm waiting for someone. I'm waiting for someone, and I do believe that someone to be you. A new recruit from Akimbo Investigations Agency. Known for sticking a fountain pen in his curls. Height roughly 165 centimeters. Goes by the name Note. He's going by Note? Notrick? I guess his name is Notrick. Oh, something close to that, right? My name's Notrick Case. You're a member of the Mana Affairs Division, aren't you? That I am. The name's Pandora Redfins. I guess she's a red herring. It's a pleasure to meet you. No, the pleasure's all mine. I'll pass on the handshake, if you don't mind. Huh? Oh, now that I'm thinking about it, I do remember something about the British not shaking hands that often. Don't take it the wrong way. It's just that I'm extremely reluctant to come into physical contact with you in any way. Well, you're right. I almost did take that the wrong way. I guess you could say I suffer from misophobia. She doesn't like miso soup. It's a bit of a bother. But you'll just have to put up with it. You just have to put up with it. I mean, is it really okay for a detective who's afraid of germs? Well, enough with introductions. Shall we head inside? You'll have to follow the case behind. The Bureau is a bit of a maze, and I don't want to have to report a child gone missing. There's something odd about this woman. As if after all these years I could still get lost. Oh, about that child got missing. I'm lost. Who would make a building like this? No matter where I go, it's just the same hallway and the same doors. Plus, there's not a floor plan to be seen. I lost Miss Redfins right at the entrance, but with this many rooms, how are there exactly 0 other people wandering the halls? How did you lose her? There's no other people. Oh, wait a tick. No way, is that a map of the building? Of course, you can't have a building this big without a single sign put in the way. Why does this look more like an apartment building than like an office building or something? Huh? What? What am I seeing here exactly? I'm in England, right? Why isn't this in proper English? He's just labeling. Am I the odd man out here? What has my hillbilly upbringing left me unfamiliar with the trends of the big? Okay, so I guess he's not gonna have this kind of accent. I'm just gonna keep giving this accent though. Should he just be like, I don't know any I don't know any Welsh accents or like any country English accents. So he's just gonna have this vaguely Australian accent now. Whatever. Now at least I can get back to the entrance. Miss Redfins will probably be waiting for me there. This map. It's here because someone's able to read it, right? Maybe the writing on here must be a unique code that only the employees here can make sense of. An American hillbilly accent? Nah. And there must be some way for me to figure out where the office of the Manor Affairs Division is. After all, I'm an employee here now. Let me have a look through my things. Certainly, there must be something enclosed in the parcel I received that could be of some use. I need to select the information pointed to the location of the Manor Affairs Division, and then choose the place the information is leading me to on the map. If I can connect these two pieces of information, I'll be able to find my answer. Alright, let's see what answer he's got. And there's no question to answer. Try to find two clues. Alright. Select document twice to pin it. Pinning a document allows you to examine two documents at once. Alright. Oh, we definitely need this, so we're gonna pin this. This is really tiny text. Alright. Hey, so how have you been? I'm the Englishman who visited your agency last Easter. Because it's you, I'm sure you'll remember my face. I didn't get to properly introduce myself back then, but my official title is Detective Chief Inspector of a certain government agency. Alright, this is... Keister, why would I do not have that kind of new resolution, okay? My New Year's resolution does not involve 8K. Let's see. I didn't get to properly introduce myself back then, but my official title is Detective Chief Inspector of a certain government agency. The reason I showed my face at the old agency of yours is that I want to recruit you into our Manor Affairs Division. I currently live in London, a city where cases that ordinary investigators can't solve happen every single day. Such a place is the perfect environment for a talented lad like yourself to flourish. No trick, let me be frank with you. I need a person of your talents. On the other side of the coin, you need an environment where you can demonstrate your talents. I've got your boss's permission for this. She opposed the idea at first, but in the end, she understood what was good for you. I hope you understand that this is not a chance everyone gets. I look forward to receiving a favorable response to my offer. Detective Chief Inspector, Phenomena Bureau, London Branch. Alright, here's the thing that we care. What's this N-A written here mean? Wow, I solved another mystery! I'm the best that ever was. Code on my employee ID badge is formatted in a strikingly similar way to the codes on this map. Also, the name of my department is written right above the code, Manor Affairs Division. Would that make these letters and the numbers the unique code assigned to a division? The same code is written on this room on the map. Then maybe that's the Manor Affairs Division. It certainly seems to be where it's pointing me. Seriously, was it the door in front of me this whole time? I feel like I'm the supporting actor in a new TV show. No, that's the main character of a new TV show. What do you mean? Well, I guess I should head inside. Excuse me. Brian? Thina? I'm... Aha! Hands in the air. She's immediately threatening us. That's funny. Logical! Alright, it's 3:25 now. PM. So just like that, I found myself here. Makes sense for a rookie. Your accent's rather unique. You're not from around here, are you? Nope, I'm from Oh, he's from New Mexico. The hell? What's he doing in London? Alright, so he's from New Mexico. What do New Mexico people sound like? I guess they'll have like that vaguely southern accent that some people have, right? Alright, let me readjust. Oh, I'm from New Mexico. I'm from New Mexico. I work for private investigator down there. Oh, New Mexico. Then perhaps you'd prefer a cup of my finest black tea on ice. Sorry, but could I get a coffee instead of tea? Of course. It's been a while since we brewed it though, so it's probably gone stale. Let me brew you a new pot. That's alright. Even stale is fine with me. I didn't catch your name. Caucasus Brian. What? Why is your name Caucasus? What the fuck? Caucasus Brian at your service. During our cases, I'm the man in charge of investigating the scene of whatever incident has taken place. The crime? Oh, thank you. Detective Brian, how should I put this? I'm sorry to be such a bother, but could you ask your colleague to put away her revolver? Cocky Brian. This revolver? Oh, you don't need to worry. You don't need to let it worry you. I'm just following protocol. So you're not gonna shoot me? My name's Tenna Herbanis. My main charge is interrogations. Just call me Tenna. Nice to meet you, Detective Tenna. But again, you're not gonna shoot me, right? Oh. Would you like the honest answer? No. Sorry to doubt you, but the detective sergeant, until the detective sergeant gets back and is able to confirm your identity, we'll be staying just like this. The bureau is strict when it comes to security. More importantly, I hope the coffee is to your liking. In the spectrum of life and death, the taste falls somewhere in the middle. Quite an abstract way of describing it. I actually find the description to be quite on the money. So, when is the sergeant of yours supposed to get here? Did you meet her outside a short time ago? I'm back. Miss Redfins? No way. Then by sergeant they mean... Indeed. That's me. I forgot what her voice is supposed to sound like already. I mean, isn't this something she should have led with? How'd you find your way here? I ran out looking for you, but I had no idea you'd find your way here before I could catch up. Found the place by comparing the code on my ID badge. This is gonna be rough readjusting. Alright, hold on. Found the place comparing the code on my ID badge to the codes on the building's floor plan. Your ID badge? Oh, you noticed the department codes. Why are you sipping on that cup of coffee at gunpoint? I was just about to bring that up. Looks like you've been cleared of suspicion. Excuse us for that. Yeah, sorry. We just about held your welcoming ceremony and your farewell ceremony at the same time. Well, that's a joke I can't there's a joke I can't laugh at. Sarge, this is all sort of sudden. I hadn't heard a word of a new recruit joining us. I only heard word 20 minutes ago myself. From the Detective Chief Inspector, no less. Of course. I wouldn't expect any different. Still, we should be thankful for the extra hands on deck. It's just been the three of us for 2 years now. You've all had the chance to introduce yourselves, right? Our friend Note here is going to be joining our investigation team starting from today. It's no joke. Vulture case. Right. I'll keep that in mind. Note. Tell me what you will. Ah, now that I'm thinking about it. Wait, now she is the Australian one. Now that I'm thinking about it. We haven't heard about the most important thing yet. The most important thing? I'm talking about your skill. What is it? What can you do? My skill? Well, I haven't really learned any special skills. And honestly, this is my first time leaving my hometown. Huh? I do have a license to operate heavy machinery? Maybe that'll be of some help. You must be joking. Everyone has a unique ability, I guess. Well, guess I wouldn't need that, huh? Heavy machinery. I'm just asking this to be certain. But Mr. Case, are you not a staffer? No, I'm not? What? Is that gonna be a problem? I see. Well, it's less of a problem. And more like, you're fired. Excuse me? Excuse me? I guess we're fired. Game over. Thanks for stream, everyone. Thanks for dropping by. Glad to see you all in 2026. We'll have more on Saturday. The substance that twisted the law, mana. The substance that twisted the laws governing this world. The strange anomalies that followed in its wake were called miracles in one era, and magic in another. In the current era, such events are collectively referred to as phenomena. Among these phenomena, the one showing a marked increase in recent days is the mana-wielding humans known as staffers. The staffers are able to wield mana how they please from birth. Born with a superpower, if you will. So the world has a staff infection. I get it. And in London, where you're currently headed, roughly 10% of the population are staffers, making it the city with the highest population of staffers. However, though it hosts such an eclectic mix of people, there is a force that allows London society to continue to function. An agency that manages and controls all phenomena, including those involving staffers. That agency is none other than the Phenomena Bureau. Commonly referred to as the Bureau. There's only one Bureau, apparently. So nobody gets confused. No, Trick, I know it's in your nature to be unable to leave a riddle unsolved, so I won't try to stop you from going to London. However, a word of caution. You will see things that you've never seen before. And one thing I'm sure of, that will include some things you'll wish you'd never seen. Oh, who's talking to him? Staffer case. Put all those staffers in a single case. Alright. It's been a while since we had some drama. I wonder if Note's on his boat back home by now. I'm still right here. Oh, so you are. But if you don't hurry, you're going to miss your boat. I'm not going back. Plus, I took a plane here, not a boat. Why? Why are you suddenly firing me? It's just, you're no staffer, so we don't need you. Sarge, that remark is somewhat misleading. They're racist against non-staffers. And then Brian, you can kick him out. Nicely. Mr. Case. I guess maybe he becomes a staffer. He'll become staffer Case. Mr. Case, have you heard word of what exactly a Mana Affairs Bureau does, or division does? From what I read in the letter I received, you all get the cases that the normal investigators can't solve? That's precisely it. There are some among the staffers able to take the life of another human without leaving a single scrap of evidence. No matter how hard you try, a normal person could never hope to solve such cases. Cases revolving around phenomena, we call such cases mana affairs. When police realize they have a mana affair on their hands, they hand over the jurisdiction to the likes of us. Likes of us? Does that mean you're all... That's right. That's right. We're staffers, all three of us. I'm beginning to understand. The Man Affairs Division is able to solve the cases that can't be solved through normal means. In other words, all of you are able to use your supernatural talents to investigate crimes. The phenomena you would label supernatural talents, we call skills. Calling it supernatural and magical makes it sound a bit cultish, don't you think? See. When she asked about my skill before, that's what she was talking about. Or asking about. It's starting to catch on, huh? No matter how fast your brain might work, or how well you drive heavy machinery, friend, there's just some cases that can't be solved through ordinary means. There are some staffers who go invisible, and others who can teleport. You can't say with confidence. You can't say with confidence that you'd be able to catch those criminals, can you? Oh, I see you've made it all right. You've made quite the long journey, Mr. Case. Actually, I guess that's Detective Constable Case now. There's the man. No, there's the man who reached out to my old investigation office, scouting me out as an addition to his team of detectives, making him the Detective Chief Inspector, sir. Ah, this is our first chance to be able to talk face to face. Huh? Good timing. If the chief insists on me being hired on, these people can do nothing to stop his decision. Show these cretins all the unsavory flavors of our capitalistic might, chief. Well, seriously, chief, how dare you show your face after turning our job on its head like this? But of course, I've lost all expectations I've ever had of getting any sort of help from you. How about you just retire before things get even uglier? Chief, public opinion of you seems on the level of a coup d'etat. Look at a lot of you. I guess the rookie joining us has got you all worked up. Actually, I was just about to ask your intent with this one. Why exactly did you hire a new detective who's not even a staffer? Sergeant Redfin, are you meaning to say you don't wish to take our detective constable case? That's right. Could have used even the slightest hint of hesitation there. Let's try this out. You're all going to give Detective Case here a test. A test? If Detective Case passes your little test, you'll let him on the team and accept him as an equal. And of course, if he fails, you can do with him as you please. How's that? Fair? Regarding the contents of said test, is that up to me? Do whatever you please. This kid's a genius. I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to say I'm a genius. Kenna, you and Brian... Kenna, you and Brian are in the middle of a case, aren't you? Huh? You're talking about the circus homicide. Oh, hold up. Are you serious right now? The evidence you were telling me about before, sure to note. I'm kind of busy. Looks like you have your work cut out for you. I don't even know what voices I'm using anymore. Everything is gone. Alright. Looks like you have your work cut out for you. Tell me how it all turns out. Once again, making his escape after giving us a bunch of work to do. All of this is a bit chaotic. But if I pass this test, that means I'll be able to stay on. Right? Okay, so you're gonna give me a test, right? What do I have to do? Before we get to that, take a look at this document for me. Okay, we're gonna solve another document case? I'm a genius, don't you know? Oh, Julia Geller. What an anime girl. What sort of document is this? What sort of document is this? Who's this a picture of? Accents bode well for the year? Oh no. This is a bureau file. It lists off each staffer's supernatural abilities, laying out what skill they have. It's one of the main documents we use to investigate any sort of phenomena that might occur. Each and every staffer must carry around the bureau file with their identity card. Halt. They're gun-themed threat levels, that's funny. These files are crafted from a material that can't be forged. So if you interpret the information listed here correctly, you can understand what sort of skills the staffers involved in your case may have. The information on this document is about Julia Geller. She is the person who found the body in the case we're currently investigating, and one of our main suspects. She certainly looks unique. Oh, she's a clown. I guess that makes sense. She just doesn't have a lot of clown makeup going on, though. Geller is a clown employed by the Trump Tower Circus, which is precisely where the murder occurred. At Trump Tower? In London? The victim was none other than the ringleader of said circus. His name was Jean-Henri Houdin. I'll give you all the details of the case later on. But first off, I'd like to continue my explanation of the Bureau files. Under the staffer's name, we've got the name of the staffer's skill written out. Geller's skill is what the Bureau has named the indiscernible object manipulation. Telekinesis? What sort of skill is that? The name doesn't really spell out what that entails. According to the statements gathered from those who know her, her skill allows her to manipulate objects through some unseen force. Basically, she's got telekinesis. So why can't you just write telekinesis? Did you think it's somehow more professional to describe her skill like this? Oh, we'd never do such a thing. And don't you think you're being a little bit harsh? There are over 1,000 staffers able to move objects without touching them in London alone. We have to take an academic approach to the naming, because filing them all under such overarching words as telekinesis does nothing to distinguish the subtleties of the skills. You've got 3 words here! That's not enough to distinguish any subtleties! You can usually infer what sort of skill a staffer has by the name listed on their file, although there are occasional exceptions like this one. So if you can't understand the name of the skill like this one, you won't be able to understand what the staffer's skill is. In cases like this, details about the staffer's skill can be found out through the course of the investigation. Julia Geller has been using her skill to perform acrobatic stunts at the circus, so it was easy to find out that her indiscernible object manipulation equals telekinesis. So just write telekinesis because you know! If that's the case, I'm not sure why we even have these files, but if that's the case, I'm not even sure why I even have these files, but anyway, I follow. And how about we take a look at the bottom part? The threat level. The threat of each staffer is ranked by the risk posed by his or her skill. Unarmed, Bowie, Colt, and SCN? Why? Why is this? Whatever. If they pose no threat, then they're labeled unarmed. If the risk of harm is that of an edged weapon, they're labeled Bowie. If they pose the same danger as a small firearm, they're labeled Colt. Threat of their skills are compared to their weapons. You didn't go to the last level. Staffers with a high threat level may have some restrictions placed upon them that could interfere with normal life. Julia Geller's rated Colt. Does that mean her skill is as dangerous as someone wielding a pistol? Next comes the skill range. Next comes the skill range. It shows how far the staffer's skill can reach. In Ms. Geller's case, I see she can only manipulate objects that are within 2 meters of her. The catalyst section below shows what the staffer needs to use a particular skill. But in Geller's case, she doesn't need anything for her, so we'll skip that. Last of all, we have a section to write anything of note about the skill that isn't included in the above sections. The info in this section can vary widely depending on the skill on a person's bureau file. If the skill were about controlling something, we'd have information about the substance that can be controlled. Controlled substances? If the skill were about creating something, we'd have info about what can be created. So shall we wrap up our explanations there? Okay, I guess we gotta solve a mystery now, maybe. New information added to your files, bureau file Geller. This information seems overly simplified. Aren't there any documents with a bit more detail on them? There are. But this is the info we're able to obtain at our current clearance level. Since the investigation department is still classified experimental within the Bureau, we don't have much in the way of clearance. I see. So what's the test that goes along with this? The reason I'm showing you Yulia Geller's Bureau file is because this woman is the prime subject in our investigation thus far. We have 3 reasons for thinking this. Now, let me show you the evidence we've gathered on her one item at a time. You have to look at this evidence and figure out 3 reasons why we currently suspect Yulia Geller. Got it. You want to find out if I'll be of any help in a real case? What do you think? Up to the task? I say no. Will you switch the test to something else? Not a chance. Then I got no choice but to do it. Though I don't really want you to change the test in the first place. Good. Then you're confident. You can use all that confidence to get you back home. So that's an okay from him. I keep forgetting what accent I gave her. What? That's an okay from him. Let's show him this first. This testimony. Ms. Geller gave a statement. The name of the witness is Yulia Geller, and the document seems to be explaining the circumstances of the witness found in the body. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary witness statement, but this part. 3 reasons why Herring suspects Yulia, then 3 reasons why that's wrong, of course. This column. It says heartbeat. What's that mean? Oh! He's pretty sharp, huh? About the abnormal heartbeat column. It gives me a place to check when I detect a change in the witness's heart rate. Witness's heart rate. Much of the evidence collected by the Mana Affairs Division is acquired using the skills of the investigators. And this is a special witness statement written using my own special skill. My skill is precise vibration detection. Any potential suspect makes a statement. I use my skill to keep track of their pulse. Using skills to collect evidence and fill out documents. Then, what's it mean when you record that the witness had an abnormal heartbeat? When I detect an abnormal heartbeat, it's for one of 3 reasons. The witness is either in an agitated state, they're talking about something emotional like murder or death, or the witness is lying. See. So you're like a lie detector? No. I'm way more accurate than those hunks of junk. You shouldn't say such things. That has a bit of a standing rivalry with lie detectors. She's got a rivalry with freaking lie detectors. Do not. That aside, there's one odd part of this witness statement. Find and point out the section that leads us to suspect her. That's the first part of your test. Alright, let me give it a try. If they're choosing to show me this document, there must be some sort of falsehood recorded inside her statement. If I pay attention to the times when her heart rate is abnormal, I should be able to find the lie in her statement. However, lying is the only reason for fluctuations in her heart rate, so I've got to be careful. False part of her statement and an abnormal heartbeat to prove it. If there's some sort of contradictory information in there, I'll be able to link those 2 things. Alright, it's obviously the coffee one. That's the only other one that's lying. What are you talking about, game? Alright. I was the first... Wait, what's a clown accent? I was the first to find him there! Wait. I was the first to find him there like that. No, not that accent. I need another one. I was the first to find him there like that. I came to see him at 9 o'clock p.m. to bring him his coffee. It all sounds suspicious. Oh. Alright, I don't know. Too many people in London. Why is everyone from London? I was the first to find him here like that. I came to find him at 9 o'clock PM to bring his coffee. To bring it to... I don't know. We're just gonna read it. I was here to find him there like that. I came to see him at 9 PM to bring him his coffee. I know that sounds suspicious, but I didn't kill him. It's obviously this. We don't have any other information about the crime, so... Mystery solved! We did it! This part of the statement is a bold-faced lie. Oh, that was a quick answer. Shall we have a look? Why exactly do you think this part is the lie? Pathetic. No, it's not like that. We don't know if he just got lucky. We can't pass him until we get a convincing explanation of why. True. If I have to explain my reasoning behind the thought... The witness statement contains 2 instances of abnormal heartbeats. The second part where she visits the crime scene to bring coffee, and the fourth part where she denies committing the murder. If the fourth part denying the murder were the lie, this would be an open-shut case. However, since she used the emotion-laced word kill in the fourth part, there's a high likelihood that her heartbeat would spike anyway. In other words, it's hard to figure out the truth behind the abnormal heartbeat there. You detected an abnormal heartbeat, but that doesn't necessarily prove that this part of the statement was a lie. Hey, you catch on quick. However, unlike the fourth part of the statement, she doesn't use any sort of emotion-provoking words, and there's no part of it that's worth getting worked up over. Yet you detected an abnormality in your heart rate, meaning this part of the statement is a lie. In other words, Julia Geller did not visit the crime scene to bring coffee to the victim. That's quite suspicious. That's right, you found our answer. That's right, you found our answer. There you go. I also had my suspicions about Geller's statement, and continued questioning the suspect. Here are the results of my interrogation. Another statement, just from one look at the document, I could see your witness got very worked up. That's right. When a witness is excited or agitated, I detect strange heartbeats whether the statement is true or not. So unable to tell whether the testimony is true or not with this document alone. At times like this, we've got to bring in some other evidence. So I think I'd better take over the explanation from here. What's your skill? Don't go getting smug just because you beat me. Out of the 3 of us, I'm the runt of the litter. I'm not. How was I smug? Plus, that wasn't exactly something to win or lose over. You already called yourself the runt of the litter, so why not accept it? Pathetic. Shut up. People always pick winners or losers. Hurry up, Brian. Show him the data you got. Alright, I guess I will. I do hate to judge others. But that was a problem I simply couldn't overlook. I do hope you understand. Here you go, Case. Your second test. This must be a photo of the crime scene. The person slumped over the desk must be the victim of the case we're investigating. Also, we're currently saying Julia Geller is our prime suspect, right? For the picture of the victim, was the cause of death this blow to the head? It was all the screen ink, though. Those are the pieces of trace evidence left behind at the scene of the crime. Fingerprints, footprints, scratches, and more. We've got all sorts of forensic clues. My skill is to accentuate various clues so that others can easily see what they are. Using my skill, I can make records of the clues I find on the photos of the crime scene like this. We call them trace photos. He's a tracer! He traces art! Skill to find clues. Besides just staffers, this might be possible for anyone to do given enough time. Yet perhaps it's not just about finding evidence either. The time the trace evidence was left is written here too. Nice catch. My skill makes clues appear to shift in color and brightness, depending on how much time has passed. I then analyzed all that information and determined when each trace was made or left. So he organizes all that information to produce these trace photos. That would certainly help out in investigation. Back to the point. This trace photo contains a piece of information that contradicts another piece of evidence. Let's call finding the contradiction your second test. Alright. That's the thing. The information on this trace photo was found and organized by Detective Brian himself. There can be no mistakes on his end. In other words, if a document contains something that contradicts this trace photo, it's the information on the document that's wrong. The information on this trace photo will help us find the lies in other documents. Well, she said 9 o'clock. That is when she showed up for the to give him coffee. That's the only time we know of so far, but there's other stuff here. You're asking if I came on any business besides bringing coffee. Why ask? Are you suspecting me for this? The ringleader. The victim always took a cup of coffee at 9 p.m. After all, he normally stays out until morning. After all, he normally stays out until morning the nights after the performances. That's the only reason I was there that night too. I had no other reason to visit the scene that day. Alright, let's pin this one. Alright. Footprints Geller. She did show up at 9 o'clock. Impression, square-shaped. Handprint, gloved hand. Victim's palm, strong impact. Can I zoom in? Oh, yeah, I can. Alright. I'm having trouble figuring out what I'm looking at. Hold on. First of all, are those cards in the dartboard? There's like some melted thing over there. There's the body, I guess. Handprint, gloved hand at 4. Oh. On the cup? 3 victims' palms, strong impact. Footprints Geller at 2. Footprints Houdin at 1. More footprints from Geller at... We don't have any information about him other than that. Able to control 2 objects at once, maximum object weight 20 kilograms. Impression square shapes. Had no other reason to visit the scene that day. Just actually bringing single malt. That was the lie. I got it. We should quick save. Let's quick save. You take your time if you like. That's quite alright. The document contradicting the trace photos is this witness statement. Would you like to point to a specific part of the statement and explain what's contradictory about it? In the additional witness statement Tana got, there's this one part that stands out. It says, I had no other reason to visit the scene that day. Given Ms. Geller's agitated state, it's impossible to judge the validity of that statement based on the abnormal heartbeat alone. However, by looking at this trace photo, we can now see that part of her statement was false. The trace photo clearly shows the footsteps Miss Julia Geller left behind. One part is Miss Geller said. We can see there were footprints left at 9 o'clock. If the statement is that she had no other business with the deceased that day were true, those would be the only footprints she left at the crime scene that day. But that's simply not the case. There were another set of footprints left behind at 7:30. One set of footprints at 7:30 and one set of footprints at 9 o'clock. Miss Geller visited the scene of this crime twice that day, so her statement that she only visited a single time is clearly a lie. There's your contradiction between the 2 documents. What do you think? Am I wrong? No, that is indeed the answer. It wasn't the most difficult of problems, but you delved so far into this in such a short time. You guys need to step up your game. Come on. As you said, Julie Geller did visit the scene of the crime, or the crime scene, at 7:30. We questioned her about it, but she wouldn't say a word. The victim entered the room at 6 o'clock. Since the victim left no footprints leaving the room, we can safely say he was still in the room at 7:30. We don't know exactly what happened inside the room at the time, but it was clearly nothing to write home about. So that's why you all suspect Miss Geller to be the culprit. Well, there's that. But also, Yuli Geller is the only person who could have committed this crime in the first place. Huh? Here, take another look at the photo. There are no other footprints that approach the victim besides Yuli Geller's, right? But yes, that's the case. Oh, that's clearly the case. But yes, that's clearly the case. But I do remember a set of footprints labeled Houdin. That's the name of the victim. He's the sad sap slumped over his desk in the picture. It's obvious that we'd have the victim's footprints at the scene of the crime, right? That's right. Yeah, that's right. So let's think this through. Judging from the footprints we have on record, only 2 people entered the scene of the crime that day. No, there's the big squares, though. The victim, Jean-Henri Houdin, and our suspect, Yulia Geller. As you can see from the picture, a bunch of water was spilled at the scene of the crime. Geller stepped in the pool of water before approaching the victim. Why would she risk getting her shoes wet to get behind the victim? Obviously, because she just got to get close to whack him on the head. Dinner. You keep going. We'll have nothing for the 3rd test. Oh. Thought I've got carried away there. I'll cut it out. Sorry, everyone. Just couldn't rein in these fantastic reasoning skills of mine. So, what does all that mean for my test? Unfortunately, since our investigation is still in progress, we've got no more information to show you, so until our investigation continues, we'll have no choice but to stop the test. What? Sarge, if I may change the subject for a moment. This case, I don't think it calls for further investigation. What do you mean? At the current juncture, we can say with near certainty that Yulia Geller is our culprit. Rather than pressing forward with further investigation, let's hand this off to the police and turn our focus to other cases. Oh, I definitely agree with you on that. We're practically drowning in cases we haven't touched yet. Oh, then. I can't agree with you on all that. It's quite natural to point the finger at Yulia Geller as your prime suspect, but I think Detective Tenna overlooked a piece of information during her explanation of her 3rd reason for suspecting Ms. Geller. You mean my rationale wasn't spot on? She overlooked something. She did. Generally speaking, her logic would be correct, but since this is Yulia Geller we're speaking of, we must say that Tenna's logic doesn't hold water. So you found a hole in her logic. But would you mind explaining what that might be? This tape recorder has everything we just said a moment ago recorded on it. Point out the part that stands out to you. After you print it out, point out which part of the transcript seems odd. So I just press the print button. So I select the part of the printed transcript that stands out and use it in connection with another piece of evidence. If I wanted to defend the argument, I'll say I support. And if I oppose the argument, I'll pick oppose and connect it to the other piece of evidence that's against tutorial, whatever. I mean, she wouldn't need to walk over the water because she has telekinesis, durr. Oh god. Alright, so here's the transcript. Oh, it doesn't get saved. Alright. We questioned her about it, but she wouldn't say a word. So the victim left no footprints leaving the room, we can safely say he was still in the room at 7:30. Alright, we're trying to say... print out the transcript and connect it with the information that opposes what she says. Mystery solved! It's the part about Yulia Geller risking her shoes getting wet in order to get close to the victim. You thought the reason she might do that was to whack him in the head, right? Right. If there's a puddle on the floor, you'd normally just take the long way around it, no? But her getting so close to the victim is something we can't really explain without assigning the action some sort of special reason. Right, I agree. However, she might not have approached the victim with the intent of killing him. What are you basing this assumption on? The suspect's skill. Her skill. Indiscernible object manipulation. That's a rather peculiar name. But you said it's basically just telekinesis, right? She's able to manipulate, to use it up to 2 meters away. For a person with the ability to wield such a skill, would she even have to approach the victim to hit him in the head? As you all said, such circumstantial evidence regarding the suspect approaching the victim should only add more suspicion to the accused under normal circumstances. However, that's not the case with Yulia Geller. Our suspect wouldn't need to get that close to the victim. You're right. With the powers of telekinesis, she wouldn't have had to approach a victim to hit him 100, no 1,000 times. I don't think she'd need to hit him that many times. She had no reason to approach the victim, yet she approached him anyway. Assuming Ms. Geller is the culprit, it's rather unnatural for her to carry out. As things stand, we cannot conclude that Ms. Geller is our culprit. Still, there's no way we can say for sure that a culprit used any skills. Maybe they forwent skills in favor of an ordinary blow? Yet, we can't say for certain that no skills were used either. Once you say the floor was wet, right? With wet shoes, you'd have no idea what sort of footprints should leave behind. In fact, Yulia Geller's footprints being left at the scene of the crime led both Detective Penn and Detective Bryan to suspect Miss Geller. Would a person looking to commit a crime take that risk? Especially if she had the means of killing her victim without getting close to him. It would be more odd for her not to use her skill. Logical! There. Quite a number of staffers able to commit a crime without entering a room. It's true that Yulia Geller is still a suspect, but as long as there are doubts to be raised, I believe this case must remain open. I think you're right about that. If Geller wasn't our culprit, we'd be in a real pickle. I apologize for having brought it up. Recently, the amount of cases assigned to our department has increased remarkably. I must have grown impatient. We needn't worry about that now, right? After all, we've got another hand on deck now. Sergeant, does that mean... Honestly, I was thinking I'd fail you and send you home regardless of what you did on the test. How you did on the test. Oh, you snake in the grass. However, you've grown on me a little. That might be true for me, but are there any objections from you two? You spotted a flaw in our logic. I can see no reason to object to his joining up with us. Here. Here. Would we have a leg to stand on if we did? Andy, did you know our reason in this was so far off? Andy? Candy? Pandora? Candy? Did you know our reasoning in this was so far off? Sort of a basic line of reasoning in a man of affairs investigation. So much so that ignorance of the fact borders on moronic. I apologize for being so much of a dimwit that I missed something so simple. I'm so ashamed of myself. I don't mean to cast blame. After all, even the best investigators sometimes end up hooked by the wrong hypothesis. The important thing is to correct the faults in our logic. This is just a theory of mine. But what's more important than finding the right way immediately, is the ability to turn around when you're on the wrong path. And Note just proved that he has that ability. So, I'm a little late in saying this, Welcome to the Mana Affairs Division. Note. No need for pleasantries. No need for pleasantries. Pleasure's all mine. Although you're right, it was a bit late. Well then, we'll have a welcome party later. For now, shall we get ready to head out? Head out? Where to? Where do you think? To continue the investigation. We're off to the scene of the crime, Trump Tower Theater. Wear your seatbelt. Your car is quite cramped. It doesn't look cramped. It looks very spacious. Oh, this is annoying. There's a mountain of paperwork in here, so I've only got this tiny space crammed up against this window. We're on the move a lot, so I tend to keep all of our case files in the car. But then one day, I realized there were more files in the car than in the filing cabinets. So I just moved what was left in the cabinets to the car! Girl. Wrong way. The place you're sitting right now was originally used to store the files on the thefts and robberies. I'm pretty sure the seats were originally created for people to sit on. There aren't any stereotypes you might be holding on to. In investigations where mana is involved, you got to think outside the box. What's your power, by the way? That's a lovely turn of phrase, but it doesn't really do much to convince me on this issue. More importantly, we haven't filled you in on the details of the case you're investigating yet, have we? The file should be close by. It's case file A0136. A0136 is this the one? Found it. The murder at the Trump Tower Theater on Dartford Road. The body was found inside the theater in the office of the victim at 9 p.m. on the night of October the 29th. The person who discovered the body was Julia Geller, an employee. The victim's name was Jean-Henri Houdin. He was the ringleader of the circus located at the Trump Tower and the owner of the small theater within said building. Hold on a second. Oh, I can zoom in anytime I want. How does he say it? Houdin. Alright. Cause of death was due to a blow in the back of the head. The force of the single blow was enough to shatter his skull. Single blow, okay. Besides the victim, there are only 3 other people able to gain entry into this office at Trump Tower, the scene of the crime. The police named all 3 people as suspects before beginning their investigation. All the employees of Trump Tower are staffers, and they have been using their skills during their circus performances. Thanks to that, it didn't take long to figure out what those skills might be. There's the clown Julia Geller with her skill of telekinesis. Then comes the magician Frederick Vernon, gifted with the skill of flames. Man, he is dressed for the part. Finally, we have the acrobat Oz Aston with her skill with ice. As the first to discover the body, Julia Geller became the prime suspect, but it's difficult to pin the crime on her that's because the murder weapon was never found? No suspect was found leaving the scene of the crime. They weren't able to find anything resembling a murder weapon within the theater. On inspecting the body of the deceased, there was no question that the murder weapon was large and heavy. It would normally be impossible to hide such a weapon. It was then made clear that one of the staffers used a skill to carry out the murder. That's when the police classified this as a phenomena. So it was the ice person. She melted. That's where the water comes from. The ice melted. And I guess she suspended it in the air at some point above him, and it fell on him, and that's how he died. Anyway, that's I'm calling it. and the case was handed over to the Mana Affairs Division. Disappearing murder weapon. I guess the murder weapon was maybe even the ice itself. But I don't know how that explains where the cubes were. Finding that may be the key to solving this case. If you're done reading up on everything, get ready to go. We're almost there. seems like Fenna and Brian beat us here. I think it's the car's already parked. I ordered them to secure the suspects and prepare them for questioning. Note, you came here. You come with me to the scene of the crime. I need you to help me until those two get done with their job. Alright. Begins my first investigation with the Man Affairs Division. A phenomena. A seemingly impossible incident involving the supernatural. Yet there exist clear rules that these supernatural powers and events must follow. Everything is documented. I can't forget about that. We just only reached we only reached case 1. This is the demo, by the way. And the demo consists of case 1 and case 2. That's gonna be a lot of case. This is the scene of the crime. The office of the victim, Houdin, was listed as the lounge. Also listed as the lounge. Quite luxurious for a lounge. Because the room is so spacious, they must have decided to use it for more than your average lounge. They say the victim spent most of his time here. 2 cases will be a lot of odd naming. And our culprit must have also known to come here if they wanted to find the victim. We're going to look for clues here. Give me a hand. I thought Detective Brian already finished his investigation of this room. Do we really need to do a second sweep? We do. Just like there are certain pieces of trace evidence only Brian can see, there are other clues that will only show up for me. Come to think of it, I haven't told you my skill, have I? Now that you're saying so, I guess you're a staffer too, huh? What on earth sort of skill might you have? Contact memory recall. I can read the memories of items with a single touch. It's commonly known as psychometry. You can read the memories of items? I don't really follow. I think it might be better if I show you. You see that teacup on the table? Yeah, of course. I have a great deal of suspicion about that cup. Is that so? Indeed. It was right next to the body, meaning it could have been poisoned, no? But wasn't the victim bludgeoned to death? So I shall read the memories of this suspicious teacup. She's just ignoring me now. Good, I've read them. You're already done? What? Did you think that I was going to start glowing whenever I used my skill or something? That's a rather ugly stereotype to have when it comes to staffers. Well, the thought never crossed my mind. You probably didn't sense a thing. Just a second ago, the events this cup experienced, the past 72 hours, just flashed through my mind. And out of all the events of the past 72 hours, only 1 or 2 memorable events remained planted in my brain. Memorable events? For example, with this particular cup, it's worth noting that not a single memory of someone's lips touching the rim of the cup remained. That means no one drank coffee out of this cup the past few days. So even if the coffee had been poisoned, the victim had no chance to drink it. It seems so. Though we know the victim was bludgeoned to death, so that was never a possibility in the first place. Of course, the thought never occurred to me. Do you understand what exactly my skill entails now? I do. What if your skill allows you to read the past of different objects? Couldn't you just read the face of the culprit from an object's memories? I cannot. Sight isn't an option. Huh? There are only 3 senses I can get from an object. Sound, smell, and touch. I can't get a read on anything besides those 3. Not even taste? Well, simply, the cup doesn't have eyes, does it? It's sort of like that. Well, they don't have nerve receptors or ears either, or noses, so, you know? Yeah. The cup doesn't have ears, a nose, nerves either. Oh, wait, the cup doesn't have ears, a nose, or nerves either. Since there's no visual information, the past I can siphon off is quite fragmented. Yet what I can read helps out the investigation a great deal. When Lady Luck shows her beautiful face, I can even hear the voice of the culprit. In those cases, I bet you all can find the criminal in a heartbeat. We can. Not bad, huh? Now, so shall we begin our investigation? I'll read the memories that remain in this room. You listen to my explanations, take note of the parts you think are important, and fashion them into a document. Use this. It's called a memory survey. So this is the document recording the past memories left at the scene of the crime. There's a limit to the information we'll be able to glean from the past, yet this document will let us see this whole incident from a new perspective. Well then, let's begin. To find the information that'll be the most useful to us, the important thing will be selecting which documents to survey. Tell me which objects scattered around the scene of the crime you'd like me to investigate. Memory survey. Alright, new mechanic. Well, first of all, let's look at this melted sculpture. What is this art exactly? At the very least, let's note this hideous block of stone. Shall we read into some memories? Let's see. It appears this is originally the bust of a human head. I can't tell you its original shape for sure, but I guess it was made in the victim's likeness. Why does it look so weird now? The shape was distorted by extremely high temperature. Someone burned the bust of this victim. How'd someone manage that? That's not exactly a flammable material. You'd think it was our culprit who did this, but why? Did someone confuse the bust for the victim? Sergeant, no one would confuse a statue for a person. It might be possible if it had a cape draped around it. Sergeant, no one puts a cape on a bust. Note, one day you're going to see a statue wearing a cape, and won't just be surprised when you do. I'm not sure about that, but whoever made the bust like this was holding quite the grudge against the victim. At least that's one possibility. Alright, there's 7 clues remaining. A dartboard. No, probably not related to the crime, but shall we read into it? She's killing my graphics card! It's got darts stuck into it. However, they weren't thrown by a normal hand. It was something stronger, almost like they were shot out of a gun. It's not just darts in it either, huh? These are playing cards. What's this, the King of Spades? How to get playing cards stuck in a dartboard? Oh, magicians can throw cards like they're weapons. At least that's the image I'm getting. I'm not seeing that, so don't go framing it out quite yet. What is this? I see quite a number of books that look difficult to comprehend. There's a whole lot you need to know. I bet there's a whole lot you need to know to run a theater. The victim sure was an outstanding person. You want me to read into it and see if that's the truth? It's not right. What is it? I read into the memory of the bookshelf but could feel no changes. How far back into the memories can you go again? As for specific memories, I can only go back 3 days. But if I'm just skimming the surface, about a month. Must have been busy these days. There are quite a number of people who view books in terms of adding to the look of the room. There are much cheaper decorations. I mean, it's true though, people do that. 1 second. There is one that's been moved recently. Huh? Which book? Poker for pushovers, intermediate level. We'll need to look into that one. Feather? That's the chair the victim was sitting in. I'll read into it. I hear a man snoring, it's quite loud. As the snoring continues, I feel a large impact, then the snoring stops. That's the memory from the time the victim was murdered. Seems that way. Our murderer must have been aiming to take him out while he was sleeping. Could you tell me what time that memory is from? I cannot. I only know that it happened roughly within the past 2 days. Surprisingly, these are quite inconvenient supernatural abilities. What's your tongue? Sorry. They aren't supernatural abilities, they're skills. Terminology is important. Be careful you don't mess it up. Right. As for the time of the crime, Brian's trace photo will be much more helpful than whatever I can give you. Shall we ask him to look into it later on? So, I should read into this feather. I hear the death cries of a bird as if it's being ripped apart. The sound of blade digging into flesh. This feather was chopped with a flap of its wings. And this feather was dropped from a living bird. Since this is the theater used for a circus, I imagine it came from a pigeon used for the show. Speaking of which, a dead pigeon was found during the search for the murder weapon. This feather is probably from that pigeon. The feather probably stuck to the body of whoever killed the pigeon, and then fell off whenever said person visited the scene of the crime. At least that's a fair assumption. Is it? So you think whoever killed that pigeon is our murderer? Probably. Having a live pigeon in your person could interfere with carrying out a crime. But a pigeon won't exactly bark like a dog or anything, so did the culprit really have to kill it? Oh no, not in pigeons bark. I thought you were joking at first, but since the city has supernaturally gifted people in it, I feel like you might be telling the truth. Of course I'm joking. The pigeons here are just pigeons. I'm not sure if creature pigeons can bark. Creature. More fantastical jargon. The fact that Sergeant throws all this jargon around like the words are commonplace is quite disconcerting. We're not gonna examine this? Alright, I'm going to use my skills to back off for a moment. Flower pot on the table fell off due to an intense tremor, which is how it seemed anyway, so there wasn't much point in reading that. So this fell off the table. Due to the impact caused by the culprit. At the very least, we can tell the flower didn't live on and kept moving. And keep moving. Oh, not too much? Felt wrong while I was saying it. No, you're actually right on the mark. A while back, we caught a staffer who was able to control plants. The staffer manipulated a growth of vines to strangle her victim. I can't even tell a silly joke in the city. There's a water stain on the rug here. At the very least, I can tell it's not blood. Shall I get a read on it? Can you even read water? Feels hot. Then slowly the moisture spreads. That smell, is it black tea? After the liquid pooled, someone crossed through it. Thinking back to the footprints in the trace photo, that must have been Yulia Geller. Didn't smell anything, so was the sergeant catching a smell from the past? After smelling the black tea from memory, I suddenly feel like having cut myself. Would you make me some later? Note? I don't know how my tea would taste. I'm not much for tea. Are you being serious? I am. I prefer coffee to tea. It's because you haven't tried a cup of genuinely scrumptious black tea. I'd rather save the money on that genuinely scrumptious tea and buy a genuinely scrumptious coffee instead. You have no intentions of changing your mind on this, have you? I mean, maybe? Well then, the next time we meet, you may find we are enemies. Is really that important to you? And one last clue, I don't know what the... Didn't we already do this? The cup doesn't look at all suspect. It suffered all manners of disgrace, but at the end of all that suffering, its integrity was confirmed untainted. Miss Yulia Geller was the one who brought this when she first came on scene, correct? Seems likely. I don't think she was lying when she said she was bringing him coffee the moment she discovered the body. The problem is the earlier 7:30 visit. Why did Geller visit the scene of the crime before bringing him coffee? No, I hide the truth from us. I did say that we shouldn't point the finger at Ms. Geller for this, but I also can't help but be suspicious. With how things stand now, the person most likely to have committed the crime is still Geller. Unless I find some other possibility, the blame will most likely fall on her in the end. I think we've investigated everything worth looking into. We took a proper record of everything. This is a top-notch memory survey. I think we found some oddities. But nothing with any clear connection to her case. Don't be too disappointed. Give it some time, then you'll start to see the meaning behind the clues we've just uncovered. Still, I feel like we're missing something. Is there anything that stands out to you, Sergeant? Well, If I have to pick one thing, maybe the ceiling. The ceiling. What about it? There's blood on the ceiling. You see, if you look carefully, there's blood on the ceiling. You'll see there's blood on the ceiling. When we find blood on the ceiling, most often it means the victim and the assailant got into a physical altercation. The blood splatter usually comes off the backswing of an already bloodied weapon. But in this case, the victim was killed with a single blow, no? We found no signs of a struggle on the corpse. Precisely, which is why the blood spatter feels out of place. I'd love to get up there and read its memory, but that would be no easy feat. Maybe because this is a theater, but the ceiling's about 5 meters up. There's blood on the ceiling. Handy! Yuli Geller's ready for questioning. Would you like to get started? Voice. Was that Detective Tenna? Oh, was that Detective Tenna? Oh, her voice is coming from me. So, walkie-talkie. Why is it a spork? Where shall we carry out the interrogation? We've got the subject in the green room. The small duck space makes it perfect, don't you think? Sounds good. Give us 5 minutes. Sergeant, what's that? Huh? It's a spork. We use these instead of walkie-talkies. So it's a walkie-talkie shaped like a spork? No, it's a spork. A cross between a spoon and a fork. I know that much, but tell me, why is Tenna's voice coming from a spork? How exactly does that work? I'm not quite sure myself. After all, we can't be sure which objects will become staff. Staff? Ah, I guess you're not completely in the know. We call objects with special abilities like the spork, for instance, staff. Just like staffers. These objects are also phenomena. And staff is like the object version of a staffer? In truth, staffers are the human version of staff. But I think you've got the gist of it. Here. Now you've got one too. If you want to get a hold of someone, just hold it upside down and speak. It's going to be a sport. Well, let's not dwell on that. I should focus on this case. Note, you're going to play an active part in our interrogation as well now. Can I? Really? It's important. You experience a little bit of everything. I have matters to attend to that require me to leave the theater for a while. While I'm out, you go help Tenna. Okay. I'll go give it a try. Although I'm not sure I'll actually be much help. It's true. You have no idea if you'll actually be of much help. But it'll be better than you not tagging along. I don't think I'll be of zero help though. You think so? Then I'll be looking forward to seeing what you can do. Not too much though. Well, that sure does make me want to get something done. Detective Tenna said the suspects would be in the green room, right? Okay. Green room. Is it green because it's green? Or is it green because there's like flowers or like plants here? Welcome to the world of investigations. Wait. Welcome to the world of investigations. It's rather admirable you've dragged yourself all this way to help Note. Yes, the Note nickname is catching on. In the beginning, it was my job to decide on nicknames with the Manor Affairs Division. But this time it looks like Pandy beat me to it. Speaking of the whole Pandy thing, you're talking about Sergeant Pandoria Redfins, right? I'm not sure how appropriate it is to call a superior officer by a nickname. A nickname's part of one's identity. It's what you need to survive when you work in this field. What field is she working in where this is normal for her? Excuse me. How long am I going to have to wait? How long am I gonna... What? No? She has to have a voice now. We have to give her a voice. Hold on. Excuse me? How long am I gonna have to wait? There we go. So she's vaguely Gaelic now. I'd like to get this over with. This woman, is she Yulia Geller? That she is. Would you like to introduce yourself? Hello, miss. Note your case of the Man Affairs Division. No need for introductions. I won't remember you anyway. You're a staffer, right, Miss Geller? I've heard you were gifted with telekinesis. You should have all my information. Since I gave you a lot my bureau file before. How'd you figure it out from what's written there? With all that strange jargon on that document, I honestly couldn't have told you from a look. Sorry, this guy's a rookie. Let's give him a demonstration. If I must. Stay back while I'm using my skill. It'll only make it harder to control. Of course. Well, I could show you with this pen. How's that? Oh! Oh, that's it. The pen's floating. Aren't you impressed? What more do you want from me? How can I put it? This is less of a magic trick and more of an actual supernatural ability. I find myself quite disinterested all of a sudden. It's true! It's not as impressive if it's just something you can just do. Would your audience members enjoy something like this? Are you in your right mind? Of course I perform different stunts on stage. This is just to show you my skill. Amateur. Ms. Geller, I heard you're a clown here at Trump Tower. But your personality doesn't seem all that cheerful. She's a sad clown, obviously. I obviously put on a cheery act when I take the stage. Do you really expect a clown to act so ludicrously in real life? Chumps like you who can't distinguish fiction from reality are the reason Vladimir Nabokov caught so much heat. I have no idea who that is, sorry Mr. Nabokov. More importantly, I've already said all I have to say. Why am I here? Miss Geller, you're here because of Note here. Oh. We were about to just conclude you were a culprit, but Note here voiced his objections. Her accent changed. But Note here voiced his objections. Should you really be telling her this? In fact, Note's the whole reason you're getting a second chance. However, you should think carefully about what you say from now on, alright? Alright. Right up against the table, please. Okay. Hey, Note. Huh? It's good to be polite and all. It's good to be polite and all. But that's not the time. A detective shouldn't be looked down upon. Understand? Yes, I understand. I mean, not that you've got the most polite way of speaking ever. So, Miss Geller, I've got a question for you. Alright. About the day in question. Before you happened upon the body, did you see the victim at all? Since we already know everything, I'd think twice about lying. Yes, I did. The ringleader called me in at 7:30. Wait, I already lost the voice I was using for her. What is it? Yes, I. Visualize. The ringleader called me in at 7:30. Nope, that's not it. Called me in at 7:30. So I went to see him. I don't know. I don't remember. That lines up with the trace photo. Wait, that lines up with the trace photo. You have a photo? A photo? No need to get into that. More importantly, we'd like you to tell us what happened at 7:30. I'm sorry. I'm sitting notes of voices. But I'd rather not talk about what happened then. Could you give me some time regarding that matter? Okay. Then perhaps we should hear from someone else first. Okay. Very well then. I guess we're talking to someone else? Wouldn't it be better to pry a little further? We can pry later. If we push it too hard, I'll have a hard time detecting abnormal heartbeats. More important than that note, you almost got us into a heap of trouble, you know. Huh? The fact that we use our skills on suspects is strictly confidential. If they're aware of our skills, they could think up counters to them. Sorry. Sorry, I didn't think about that. Seriously, I haven't figured out if you're a genius or a dunce. Watch your mouth, okay? If one of the suspects caught word... excuse me? So that's when I said it. Would you rather eat ice cream or eat it? Would you rather eat that if it tasted like ice cream or ice cream if it tasted like that? You need to change the subject. Couldn't you pick a better topic? Couldn't you pick a better topic? That's gross. So look, I think I'm in the heat of the moment. I have something to say. Before, I feel like I started out a bit harsh. With everything going on, I've been a bit touchy, and thank you for the second chance, Detective No Trick Case. That's all I wanted to say. Okay. Oh, that's a development, huh? She just thought it wouldn't be a bad idea getting in close to the detective. Still, she heard you. She even remembered your name note. True. Great, it's quite nice to hear honest gratitude. After all, we don't hear it often. Detective Brian. And with the spork? So you bring in the suspects? I don't like the sound that spork makes. It's awful. Indeed, both of them are waiting outside. Right. Lead them in one at a time. We'll start with the bloke. Magician Frederick Vernon at your service. Magician Frederick Vernon at your service. Oh, there's a hairstyle you could spot. There's a hairstyle you could spot in the crowd. You could lose your soul in a hand that cards to hair like that. Hair like what exactly? Note: have you still not seen his bureau file? Here it is. Have a look. He's got a diamond. Oh, he's also a cult. Frederick Vernon's skill is radial ignition. Ignition means he can light fires, right? Does this part mean it radiates outward from a central point? Simple enough. Seems like something you men would enjoy. Wait. He suddenly turned southern. Simple enough. Seems like something you men would enjoy. I'm just glad it's easier to understand than indiscernible object manipulation. Most of my magic act make use of my skill. Things like setting fire to targets and the like. I'd love to show you, but that may be difficult due to the risks of starting a fire. It's quite alright. There are those skillful enough to fool us about the skills, making it necessary to check them out. But since you troop members here at Trump Tower use your skills during your performances, pulling the wool over our eyes is impossible. Still, can you really call using a skill a magic trick? Magic normally relies on illusions. Even if I did magic without the use of my skill, do you think anyone would believe it was a trick? The city is filled with staffers. I decided that instead of trying my hardest to conceal my powers and be called a fraud, I'd openly show them. Thankfully, the response was satisfactory. Someone made Satisfactory because of his magic tricks. Oh my god. They were inspired by his magic to make Satisfactory. Plus, there's something romantic about a man who can shoot fire out of his hands. That may just be your personal preference speaking. Oh, sorry. Calling you out here so suddenly must be quite the inconvenience, yes? No, it's quite alright. The man wearing the monocle provided me with a blanket and a spot of tea, turning on some classical music. Seems like the Bureau treats their suspects quite nicely. It's the man wearing the monocle who goes to strange lengths. More importantly, I'd like to move into discussing the case. That's what you called me for, is it not? Should we? Then please scoot in close to the table. Oh, that's right. Okay, so she's scooting. She wants them scooting close so she can feel their heartbeat through the table. I guess she has trouble doing it without a medium, I guess. Well then, could you tell me about the last time you saw the deceased? If you'd like. It's Mr. Vernon. He doesn't seem as hot as his hairstyle makes him out to be. He's not that attractive at all, says No Trick. It's just the hair. Speech review. Alright, so this is basically, I guess... Why did you pick this color of text? Oh my god. I visited the scene of the crime at about 8:30. It was due to personal matters I had to discuss with the victim. I knocked on the door for almost 5 minutes, but there was no response. I couldn't hear the slightest bit of movement from inside. So I just went back to what I was doing, didn't go inside. I couldn't have killed him. Well, we know it wasn't him using his skill because it said radial ignition, so presumably that means that he doesn't really have that much control over... No? 1.2 meters, radial ignition. The ceiling was about 5 meters up, so if there was anything on the ceiling, he couldn't have been burning it. This is also true for Geller. Her range is 2 meters. Besides, there are no hot feelings between him and I. That's all I know. Shorter statement than I imagined. He seemed like he had a lot to say. Well, that's why I shouldn't judge based on appearances. No, with hair like that, it should be ending every sentence with fire, or at least you could add some passion, no? So ridiculously rude, it's almost admirable. Anyway, first things first, check out the statements we've got so far, note. Now let's see here. I've got 2 new documents, Vernon's bureau file and his statement. I should take a close look at them. Since I'm not a staffer, the only I can do to help is look for clues in the documents written by others. Let's think if I can find something worth noting and point it out. I might be able to find another clue. What are we doing? Alright, I was the first to find him there like that. Came to see him at 9 p.m. to bring him his coffee. Oh wait, this is Yuli Geller's statement. Where's his statement? I visited the scene of the crime at about 8:30. It was due to personal matters I had to discuss with the victim. I couldn't have killed him. I mean, he has these kills. There were no hard feelings between him and I. I don't remember. Okay. I don't remember what they had. Really mention? I forgot if they mentioned, like, I forgot what things they mentioned that I should be on the lookout for heartbeat measurements. Things that make you emotional. If there's no hard feelings, then it should be not emotional. In Mr. Vernon's statement, there's a blatant lie. Lie? Take another look at the witness statement. Don't you notice anything strange? You're right. I detected an abnormal heartbeat during the last line of his statement. Mr. Vernon is much more calm than his appearance would have us believe. But even though he wasn't talking about death, you detected an abnormal heartbeat, meaning he was lying. Well, not even familiar with all the new terms, but you're already figuring it out faster than Senna using her skill. Stupendous. And the false part of the statement is... Besides, there were no hot feelings between him and I, right? In other words, Mr. Vernon did have a problem with the deceased, huh? That's right. Did we get another statement regarding that part then? Is there a problem? Mr. Vernon, you said there are no hot feelings between you and the victim, right? Yes, that's right. I'm sure you know the difficulties that may arise if we find out you're lying to us. I have no idea what you're talking about. The ringleader and I aren't exactly friends, but there's no friction between us. It's not gonna work. It's gonna keep dodging us to the bitter end. You're calling it quits here. You're calling it quits here. You know that that was an obvious lie. But there's no use. If he finds out about my skill, he'll refuse to tell us anymore. In cases like this, it's best to find something he can't talk his way out of. Something he can't talk his way out of. You've got to present undeniable evidence to the suspect. Evidence that proves that statement was a lie. Obviously, there's the melted statue. Things aren't all that bad yet. We can't get another statement, but we know which part was a lie. All we have to do is find a clue that contradicts the first statement. So, do you have any evidence of a fight between our victim and Vernon? Proof that Mr. Vernon's statement is false. In other words, we have to find a clue that Mr. Vernon was on bad terms with the victim, right? And then if we can connect that clue to the false part of his statement, I can bring Mr. Vernon's lie to light. I should look through the documents we've uncovered thus far. Maybe there's a clue that will tell us about the sort of relationship Mr. Vernon had with the deceased. Womp womp. Detective Tenna, do you happen to see the odd decoration adorning the scene of the crime? I think I saw it. Are you talking about the work of art only the people in the know could appreciate? Work of art? Was there such a work? You don't know? It's displayed right next to the bookshelf. Of course Mr. Vernon doesn't know. There's no simple work of art after all. It was a bust modeled after the victim. Really? Then why does it look like it was swallowed up by the abyss? According to the victim, to the sergeant's investigation, someone melted it down with a powerful flame. Fire, huh? How'd you think that happened? There wasn't exactly a bonfire in the room. There are no signs the bust was carried out. Is it possible to make a bust look like that? Only way it's possible is if it was done by a staffer with an ignition skill. That staffer? I must have absolutely hated the victim. The nerve required to make a bust of the victim into an abstract artwork. Mr. Vernon? Yes? With you and the victim, things were bad, huh? I'd like to apologize. Logical! Why lie? I'm sorry. I figured that if you found out I got into a scuffle with the ringleader, you might turn your suspicion towards me. I thought about being honest with you, but you're all part of the bureau, right? Why does that matter? Why does that matter? You're right. Since I'm also a staffer, I figured showing weakness in front of the bureau, let's just say I had a bad feeling about it. I heard that the bureau has a bad reputation, at least at first glance. But I had no idea people trusted us this little. No, it's not even a question of trust. I feel like Mr. Vernon is actually terrified of us. I'm not completely unaware of what you may be feeling. Making false statements will only hurt you in the end. I'm going to write up this new statement. Will you be honest this time? I will. Oh, nice music. No one could have gotten along with that man. He never had the greatest personality, but it's only gotten worse these past few days. I'm aware that he's amassed quite the gambling debt, so I'd wager that's probably the reason. He was crossing the line with how much slander he threw our way, and Geller's got the lion's share. The only thing he could do was jump high, so he asked a whole lot from the rest of us. We ended up getting into a yelling match 2 days before the incident. Nothing good was said, so I kept it secret from the others. That's when I got angry and burned the sculpture. Even now, I think I went too far. That's why I want to apologize to him the day of the incident. Is that all I'll get out of him? Is he the one who forced your hair to style? Is he the one who forced you to style your hair that weird? Yes, the ringleader took his directing role very seriously to an odd degree. He forced me to act like I'm this character full of passion. At the end of every speech, it's fire! Or something similar that put the exclamation point on what I'm saying. That's how thin I would have you do it. That's how thin I would have you do it. No, it's not. I thought never crossed my mind. Did too. If the victim really was like that, why'd you stay at the circus this whole time? There must have been a way to shift careers. I was not. No other troops would accept us, I can assure you that. Regardless, that's all I have for you. Sorry to disturb your investigation. Shall we call in our next suspect then? I just did. Is she carrying around a popsicle? Careful. I know. I don't know what accent we should give her this time. So this must be Ms. Oz Aston. Indeed, Oz Aston. Trump Tower's resident acrobat. Here's her bureau file, have a look. Thank you. She's a Bowie. From what I can see on your file, Miss Aston, your skill is chain ice formation. Ice formation would be freezing water and ice, but what's the chain part about? Range under 1 centimeter. Chain reaction can continue up to 5 centimeters. Every 2 cubic meters takes 1 second to freeze. Yeah, it was her. The range of my skill is less than a single centimeter, and I can only really use it when I come into contact with water. However, once I use my skill a single time, it sets off a chain reaction, forming an ice block up to 5 meters. So if you merely touch the surface of a pool of water, it can freeze up to a 5-meter radius. Yes, and I've shown my exact ability up on stage before. However, I'm not able to freeze any liquid. My catalyst, the only liquid I'm able to freeze is purified water. I see. I've got a general idea of her skill now. However, Miss Aston, unlike the previous two, actually has a catalyst on her bureau file. I should probably keep that in mind. Now that we're done with the introductions, shall we get to the main show? Wait. The accent changed. Now that we're done with the introductions, shall we get to the main show? The main show, huh? This woman's just as straightforward as Mr. Vernon. Phone, why are you dying so much? Alright, let's get to it then. Before you begin your testimony, would you like something? Do you mind scooting close to the table for me? Of course. After all, I'm quite the cool character. Cool character. There you go. I went to the office only once. The time was maybe 8 in the evening. However, I didn't step inside. When I stopped by, the ringleader was sleeping. I was worried he'd get angry if I woke him. So I returned to our green room. A time after, I heard Julia's screams. I sprinted to the office where her screams were coming from to find his corpse. Sudden expression change. Are you alright, miss? Whatever could you mean? When you recall the incident in question, it looked like you were trembling. I believe you're mistaken. Such affairs hardly affect me. Few people would use such affairs to describe a murder. Oz Aston, you seem to be a rather unique individual. You have a touch that ice slowly you're holding. So why carry it around with you? Perhaps... Mr. Vernon said he was acting out a passionate character on stage, right? And maybe Miss Aston is also playing a character. Well, not exactly on stage, so why keep up the act? Besides, what character is this supposed to be? One with a split personality. Since Mr. Vernon with his fire was made to focus on his passion, Miss Aston's probably acting out a cool-headed character. Thinking about it like that, I do feel quite sympathetic. Detective Thena, what's the matter? Dear Lord, if you haven't figured it out, Miss Aston's lying to you. Excuse me. What manner of accusation is that? Miss Aston, you never said you opened the office door, right? How could you know the victim was sleeping? How could you know the victim was sleeping? Oh, there's a perfectly good explanation for that. The explanation is you're the culprit. You snuck in while he was sleeping and killed the man. You must have lied about not opening the door. It's a rather hasty conclusion to make. Would you please work out that habit you have of whipping out your gun all the time? You know what they say about old habits. Detective Tenna's logic, it seems sound at first, but is it true? Are there any clues that contradict her hypothesis? Let's print out her claim and check it against some of the other documents. If I want to support her or post someone else's opinion, I have to print out the transcript, right? Alright. Now, what are we looking at? Transcript. You must have lied about not opening the door. No statement here. Well, I mean, there's no... We're just gonna be opposing her every time. When it was office only once, the time was maybe right in the, 8 in the evening? She wasn't lying. Or, like, she didn't have a heartbeat. But maybe she's just good at doing that because of the act. Oh! Combination failed. Did she have a second? No? Did she doesn't mention opening the door at all in this though. What are you talking about? Went to his office, blah blah blah. She didn't say anything about opening the door. What do you mean? Just that she didn't step inside. Alright, maybe that's what we have to do. Just point out that that's not what she said. Detective Thena. What's wrong? If you put too much admiration on me, that might lead to some problems. It's not that. I don't think she's lying. Huh? The part about Miss Aston's statement. Not opening the door. She wasn't lying. Why do you say that? Please have a look at the witness statement we just wrote out. When she said she didn't open the door, you didn't detect any sort of normal heartbeat. She didn't say she didn't open the door, she just said she didn't step in. So clearly that clue is just wrong. Or the statement that they wrote there was just wrong. Indeed, if your claim were true, Detective, you should have detected some abnormality in her heart rate when she got to that part of his statement. Alright. Then what happened? How did Aston know the victim was sleeping? The reason Miss Aston knew the victim was asleep was because the door was already open? It would be really helpful if I had information on the state of the victim at the time. Julia Geller said that he was sleeping. Right? Oh no, wait, we have the chair. The chair says that he was sleeping, so we might as well point that out. Of course, the sound! What sound? What sound? The snoring. Right when I was about to open the door, I heard the ringleader's snores. I'm doing this voice really weird. His snoring was a sight to behold, or was a thing to behold. So you heard the victim snores, and he knew he was asleep. You really expect us to believe that? That's true. Why are you doing this? I only prove my claims wrong. How am I supposed to say that? When the sergeant read the memory of the chair that seen the crime, she said she heard snoring. Snoring only stopped after there was dull thud. The victim was snoring right up to the moment he was killed. And then I could see no logic that leads to any sort of falsehood in a statement. Congratulations, Note. You passed the last test. There was no test. I can we just say it was? I like Tenna, she's funny. She's very stupid. And she likes pointing guns at people. So is my name cleared for this now? It is. Sorry to have casted blame where it didn't belong. No, it's quite alright. As I said, I am a cool-headed person. So it's natural for me to raise suspicion. Finger guns too, yes. She really wants to stay in character. She has the clubs. Fire Guy had a diamond. Yulia had heart, I think. You're just going to tell her. I should. Ms. Oz Aston, you don't look the least bit cool with what's going on. Instead of cool, I'd go with someone suffering from a mental breakdown. Just the overall concept of carrying around an ice lily to look cool. It's so one-dimensional, it actually comes off sort of cute, no? Look at you. You're just acting cool because of the character you play on stage, huh? You're right. When the ringleader first saw my skill, he said, so you can control ice, huh? Let's make you the ice queen. He said I had to change my personality, my attire, even the temperature of the green room to match the chill. This guy was insane, huh? I'm not the most skilled actress, so I tried my best to keep up the cool attitude, but it seems like it's no use. I do believe we need to find out more about the victim, Jean-Henri Houdin. Could you give a statement about what sort of person Houdin was and what your opinions were of him? I'd like you to specifically focus on the role he forced upon you. Okay, I'll try. Honestly, it was Yulia who suffered the most. But that's not to say that she did anything to deserve that. The ringleader often said of Yulia, I was tricked into hiring that girl. Geller can make things float, but only those close enough she could reach out and touch. If you really think about it, the leader's special ability had to do with soaring through the air, so he must have looked down on her. Also, he always envied Vernon for being the most popular and tried to throw a spanner in his act. I guess they got quite the yelling match a while back too. He even tried to put his hands on me once. Fortunately, he stopped right before hitting me. Jesus, this guy sucks. So maybe they all teamed up to kill him. That's all I can think of right now. Could I leave now? Could I leave now? There we go.
はい。ありがとうございま
Indeed,
した
you've put yourself through enough. Don't go too far, though.
はい。気をつ
Okay.
けます。
I'll keep that in mind. In mind.
被害者は本当にクズだった
The
んだ
victim
な。
was absolutely human filth.
正直。
Honestly, I found myself thinking I'm glad he was killed.
それは捜査
That's
官
not
が
something
言
a
っていい
detective should be
ようなこと
saying.
じゃないな
No one in this world deserves death.
相変わらず。
Still so untainted, our Brian.
いずれにせよ
At the very least, the fact he was murdered doesn't seem that odd anymore.
この陳述によると
From the statements we've collected, I can now see that each of our 3 suspects had a motive for killing the victim.
動機が
この世に死んで当然な人はいる。
Is there a single person in this world who deserves death?
興味深い点。
That's an interesting topic,
私
but nothing we should be fretting about now.
この世に殺人を。
There's not a single person in this world who can truly hide a murder.
私たち
The only important topic for the likes of us.
チーム長
Sergeant, all finished with the business he had to attend to.
これ
That I am. Here, a present. High velocity object propulsion. So he can kill people. Max speed 240 meters per second. Able to propel objects under 80 kilograms? He can launch a person, including himself, I guess. Why does this look weird? What's this?
被害者
The victim's bureau file.
かなり追い詰められた
He must have had urgent business to attend to.
管理上のため
He left his bureau file as collateral, and if the bureau had found out about that, he'd have had a quick date with Charon for a ride. I'm not really surprised. I see that Hugh Dean was a confirmed staffer. I guess that was given, though, since they said everyone at Trump Tower was a staffer, huh?
被害者のスキル
The victim's skill seems to have been that he was capable of object propulsion, so he was firing things off.
射程距離内にある
It looks like he was able to fire off objects within range of him like rockets. The victim, like other suspects, made a show of said skill at the circus.
物でもこの管理上
But, I mean, this bureau file won't be of much use with how things currently stand, so you can ignore that. More importantly, I was listening in on the spook.
ユリア・ゲラーの陳述
Have you still not gotten Yulia's next statement?
はい
We asked her about the visit at 7:30,
被害者を訪問し
but she said she wanted to make a statement about that later on. Strange.
アストンは
Aston said she heard the victim snoring at around 8 o'clock.
もしゲラーが犯人
Even if Geller were a culprit, she couldn't have committed the crime at 7:30.
その時間
Maybe something happened at
ことが
7:30 that's difficult for her to talk about?
何か思い当た
Sounds like you might know something. That's right. Miss Aston's statement just a moment ago gave me a thought. There's a document that spells out exactly what happened during Miss Geller's 7:30 visit to the scene of the crime. The answer's quite obvious when you stop to think about it.
私たちに見せて
And show us. If you think something bad happened to Geller, show us the information that proves what it was. Something bad happened to Geller. Well, she clearly came in here at 7:30. The pigeon thing, maybe? Something Aston said. He tried to put his hands on me once. Miss Aston said the victim once almost struck her, correct?
幸い
That's right. Thankfully he pulled back, so it remained that he almost struck her.
それなんです
About that, you really think it was almost? Excuse me?
痕跡写
If
真
you take a look at the victim's hand in the trace photo, you can clearly see signs of an impact.
そういえばそんな
Although you mention it, I didn't notice that.
珍しいと
I thought it strange back then, so I made a note of it. But what was it from, exactly? A sign of a struggle? So we've confirmed that the victim was alive until 8 o'clock. The blow was struck before then.
ならこの痕跡
Well then, where did that trace come from?
手のひらの痕跡
The trauma to his palm may have come from when he slapped someone, don't you think?
犯人への
People don't normally just slap an assailant when they're being attacked. There's a good chance this is evidence of an unreciprocated blow.
いやいやアストン
No way. Austin said it herself. He never actually hit her. I didn't detect any abnormal heartbeat during that part of his statement.
そうでしょう。
That may be true. Miss Aston was never struck by the victim.
ありません。
But how about other troop members?
他の団員たちをこの手のひらの
Blow was struck at 7:35. At that time, there happened to be someone else at the scene of the crime. You don't say.
トランプタワー
It
の
was none other than the clan of Trump Tower, Yulia Geller.
ユリア・ゲラーが19時
Yulia Geller met the victim at 7:30.
被害者は彼女に暴
Hey Daigo, Happy New Year! Welcome in! How you been? How is 2026 treating you so far? Let's see. So when Yulia Geller met the victim at 7:30, the victim assaulted her. You think that's part of that's the part she didn't want to discuss.
殺人事件
If
の
you were a suspect in a murder case, you'd certainly want to hide a truth regarding your conflict with the victim.
それに
Also, some people hide the fact that they've been victims of crimes due to self-esteem issues.
いずれにしても
Reasons aside,
それに気づいて
note, since you found out the truth, Geller has no reason to withhold her statement.
ユリア・ゲラーを呼んで
Call in Yulia Geller.
何ですか
What's the matter?
ゲラーさん、お互いのために
Ms. Geller,
本
let
当
me
に
be
に話します。
straightforward with you so we don't end up just tiring each other out.
事件当日、
You entered the scene of the crime at 7:30.
訪れたのは
Did the victim then assault you?
被害者に殴
You
られ
well hung out with your cousins and siblings for lunch and arcade? Nice!
あなたたちは
How'd you find out about that?
方法があるんですよ。
We have our ways. And I'm stupid. You know how we talked about me buying FS7 Rebirth? Yeah? What about it? Turns out you already bought it? Okay. Lol. No excuses anymore. We have our ways. Does that mean you're admitting the assault took place?
少し
No, we
言い争い
did get into a heated discussion.
団長
But the ringleader didn't lay a hand on me.
僕たちには正
It would
直
be wise for you to tell us the truth.
違うって言ってるじゃない
I just told you the truth, he didn't.
そもそも
What might I have done for him to want to hit me?
それは
Well,
被害
I
者
can't think of a reason
妥当な理由なんてないでしょ。
why he might have resorted to violence. After all, such an action is beyond justification. Yet, as to why the victim held ill will toward you, we've heard a few things.
被害者がゲラ
And the reason the victim held a grudge against you, Miss Geller, might have to do with...
おそらく
Oh, do we have to do this part too? Hmm. You'll play it this year for sure? That's a whole year. That's 365 days worth.
被害者はあなたについて騙されて雇ったとよく言っていたそうです。
365 days worth of thing. Maybe I'll play it the next day. I heard the victim often said he was tricked into hiring you. Ms. Geller, your skill is limited in a number of ways. Thus, there's a limit to the number of stunts you're able to show us.
そのことが被害者の期待とは違ったんじゃないですか。それで被害者はあなたを
Did those differ from the victim's expectations? Maybe that's why the victim...
殴られていません
He didn't hit me.
まだしも
He
殴ら
didn't.
れた方が
What was...
と思いますか
He didn't hit me. He didn't. And would the victim of an assault ever say that?
最後まで白を
She's sticking to her guns. Maybe this is about her pride after all?
不快じゃない
That thing must be stifling.
はい
Excuse me?
公演中でも
You're not performing, yet you still
顔
choose
を半分
to cover half your face.
ですか
Oh god.
その仮面
The mask.
普段も
Do you normally wear it around?
ゲラーさ
Ms. Geller,
ん見せていただ
would
け
you
ま
mind
す
showing us your face?
仮面の
Could we see
下
what's under the mask?
他の人たちには
Please keep it a secret from the others. No! He hit her! Logical!
そのあざは
The victim give you that bruise.
はい
You
隠し
did.
たりしてすみません
I'm sorry for hiding it from you.
犯
I
人
was afraid you might suspect me for the culprit, but more than that, I didn't want the other troop members to find out.
どうして知られたくな
Why
かっ
didn't you want them to find out?
た
They know the victim was the bad guy, not you.
それは違います
That's not true. I'm the bad one here.
どういう
What's that supposed to mean?
それじゃあ
Well, what are the details when she makes her statement? Please tell us about your relationship with the victim. Okay, I'll tell you. Although I doubt this is the information you're looking for. At first, I was making ends meet by holding street performances. That's when I familiarized myself with the stunts I perform on stage these days. Then one day, the ringleader who just happened to see those stunts, he asked me to come perform at Troop Tower. It was later when I learned that the ringleader was looking for a new troop member with telekinesis and mistakenly assumed that I used telekinesis to pull off my stunts. It was because of him I found my way to the circus, but I was unable to manipulate faraway objects like he was hoping. I tried to hide the fact from him at first, but he ended up finding me out. It was natural for the ringleader to have a certain level of detest towards me. I don't blame him. Well, that statement came out completely different than how I was expecting it to. First things first, when you say stunts you perform on stage, what sort of stunts exactly? You call me the jumping jester. It's hard to put what I do into words exactly. You're talking about this. I picked it up near the entrance to the tower. A poster for Trump Tower, so the floating clown up there is you, Miss Geller. Oh, her, right there? It is. I jump as high as I can to the air, and then I use my skill to stop in midair. As I repeat... I gave her a different accent all of a sudden. It is. I jump as high as I can into the air, and then I use my skill to stop in midair. As I repeat the jump and hover, I can climb higher and higher. Once I'm up there, I'll put on a show, like I'm about to plummet to the ground. It's all about eliciting the best reaction from the audience. Definitely sounds quite complicated. I better take this poster with me to keep it all fresh in mind. Also, there's one more detail that concerns me. You said you didn't have much of the victim. You didn't think much of the victim striking you, right? It's not that I didn't think much of it, but I can understand why you did it. You understand? You understand why he was prone to using violence with you? I want to ask outright if she's completely serious about what she said. I'm quite sure that's the case regardless. After all, there were 0 abnormal heartbeats detected during your statement. This place. Trump Tower is the first place where I felt like I really belong. All the other troop members share the same wounds as me. Same wounds. Even if I were to explain it to you, Detective Case, I hardly think you'd understand. From the moment we were born into this world, every event we sufferers go through forms a wound we carry with us. I understand how and why the ringleader became the person he was. It's the same for everyone in this troop. I doubt Miss Vernon or Miss Aston would share her sentiment. Trump Tower is everything to me. Yet I deceived the people here. It only follows I should be punished for my deception. I can't read her heart rate because she's not touching the table. But as a seasoned interrogations expert, I can tell you those aren't the lies of a liar. I just don't understand. As it turns out, everything that happened at 7:30 was as I expected. However, it's hard to say that any of this counts as progress. Something makes me feel like I only know a bunch of information I don't really care to know. I just hope the news statement we've just obtained gives us something to go on during the investigation. Poor Yulia. I think we've heard all we're going to from our suspects. So, have you solved any part of this riddle? I'm not sure that Mr. Verner nor Miss Aston stepped foot in our crime scene that day, though they both got all the way up to the door. When you're dealing with staffers, murder from a distance is not out of the question. Just standing in front of us room is enough to raise suspicion. Well, we really step back and look at it, the problem is we still don't know the victim was murdered. After all, we haven't found our missing murder weapon. But we've got a good deal of clues to go on. It's time we started bouncing ideas off each other. Even if we do start bouncing ideas off each other, which ideas should we start with? First off, we require a means of identifying our suspect. Brian, do you remember the favor I asked? Oh, speaking of that, case. I mean, no, right? I've got something for you.
わざわざ訂正しなくて
You
も
don't
大
really
丈
need to correct yourself there. Oh, is this another trace photo? That's right. It's a photo I took in front of ringleader's that's right. It's a photo I took in front of the ringleader's office.
廊下のように人
In
が
places with a lot of foot traffic, like corridors, it's hard to identify specific footprints, but there weren't many people who stopped in front of the door.
容疑者全員
Because all of our suspects routinely wear gloves and we had no fingerprints, but we were able to identify footprints from the foot sizes. From that,
夫被害者の死亡推
we
定
can get an estimate of when the victim was killed. You do catch on quick.
それじゃあ
So to make sure this matches the information we've collected thus far, first off, we've discussed the set of footprints Yulia Geller left at 7:30 more than a few times. These were the first.
話しました
ゲラーはこの時被害者
That's when Geller was assaulted by a victim. Yet it doesn't seem as though Geller holds any sort of grudge regarding that.
次にできた
As for the next set of footprints,
オズアストンが
at 8 o'clock, Oz Aston swung by the room.
自分は部屋に
According to her statement, she didn't enter the room. Let me check something. Vernon's second statement. My phone has died 3 times today. The stream. It's having trouble, I guess, with the heat dispersion. No, it's plugged in. It's just like it's heating up. So I assume it's just a heat problem. Or a cooling problem. I couldn't hear the slightest bit of movement inside. So he was already dead at 8:30. So it was definitely her. According to her statement, she didn't enter the room.
被害者のいびきを聞い
However, she did say she heard him snoring. We were able to prove the statement true or not true, though, through Detective Tana's skill, showing that. However, she did say she heard him snoring. We were able to prove that the statement true, though, through Detective Tana's skill, showing that the victim was alive up to that point.
アストンさんは
Miss Aston was the last person to witness any sign that the victim was alive.
フレデリック・バーノンは
Frederick Vernon visited the room at 8:40. Frederick Vernon visited the room at 8:45. He testified that he came at 8:30, but it seems he was off by 15 minutes.
バーノンはノックしたが
Vernon says he knocked, but there was no response. Thus, we cannot confirm or deny whether our culprit was still among the living at the time.
最後にできた足跡は
The last set of footprints were made at 9 o'clock. These were made by Yulia Geller, made when Yulia Geller came upon the body of the victim.
アストンと
For that, Aston and Vernon reached the scene of the crime, but I decided not to mark the prints, so they aren't pertinent to the case.
写真をそれから
There is one other piece of evidence that stood out to me, as I marked it on the photo, but that's a matter for a later time.
情報を合わせると被害者の死亡推定時刻
Box. When we put all of our information together, we can estimate the time of death for the victim.
オズアストンが被害者の
Somewhere between
した20
Oz Aston's visit at 8 o'clock to when the body was discovered at 9 o'clock.
その間に被害者
Somewhere in that 1-hour window, the victim was murdered. Logical! Great, we've got a time of death, so that counts as progress in the investigation, right? No, I can't agree with you on that. After all, each of our suspects visited the scene within that 1-hour window, isn't that true? I guess I still don't know anything. I just have to disagree with myself. We're still clueless, huh? What's wrong with her?
何でもないの
I'll
で
just don't mind her.
そうですね最後に被害者
I
の生
see.
存を確
Well, the
認
last
した
person,
のは
the last person to confirm our suspect was alive is Miss Aston.
最初に
The first to confirm the death is Miss Geller,
そして
and Mr. Vernon dropped by in the time in
3
between.
人の容疑者
The fact that all 3 suspects can still be suspected of the crime means nothing has changed. How unfortunate. If we can narrow down that window of time, we might be able to narrow down our list of suspects. What if? The victim was already dead when Vernon visited the scene of the crime. What if we had some way of proving that?
本当にそうなら
If we were able to do that, we could clear Geller's subsequent visit and all suspicion it was her.
それは
Yet it's not wishful thinking. Is it though? No, what do you think? Not me.
どうだろう
What do I think? Is there nothing I can raise an eyebrow at? Is there any clue we've collected so far that can lend
何か
truth to her suspicion?
アストンさんが被害者の生存
If we considered how Miss Aston was able to confirm the victim was alive,
その
Maybe we could use the opposite? Alright, yeah. There's no more snoring. Anyway. When Mr. Vernon visited the scene of the crime, he said he couldn't hear even the faintest rustling from inside. Moreover, we didn't detect any abnormal heartbeat when he said that. Indeed. Thus, we have no way of knowing whether a victim was alive or dead at that time. Oh, that's not true. There's a high possibility the victim was already dead at the time. What? How can you say that with any certainty? The memory survey. When the sergeant read the memories of the chair our corpse was found in, he heard the victim snores. Yes, and that snoring continued before cutting out at one particular moment. Right, and what moment might that have been? The moment the victim was killed. Isn't that obvious? Do you know any dead people who can snore? The important part isn't that the victim stopped snoring. What's important is the fact is that the snoring continued until the moment the victim was killed. Oh, I see. If the victim was still alive when Vernon dropped by the room, he would have heard the snores coming from inside, yet he didn't hear a single sound. In other words, when Mr. Vernon was stopped by at 8:45, it was after the victim had been murdered. That means the suspicions he had of Geller and her visiting the scene after are cleared. No, that's not right. Really, Geller's skill is indiscernible object manipulation, so she's basically telekinetic now. Even if she's not standing right in front of the door, could she have killed the victim through a wall or something? Oh, about that. I don't believe Miss Geller could have killed the victim from a distance. Waiting for now to say that? No, the reason we weren't able to prove Yulia Geller was the murder was because of the strange way she approached the victim and the possibility of a murder from a distance. Is there a reason for your change of heart? After arriving here in the things I've heard so far, I believe we could say we have new information on Miss Geller. This information proves that Miss Geller couldn't have committed the murder from a distance. I've got a document that proves it. I mean, her max range is 2 meters. We don't have the printout, so it's gotta be this. What? What do you mean? Oh, the conversation log. Okay. She doesn't actually have telekinesis. What? Oh yeah, this one. The one that's actually about 4 objects. We know that her limit is 2 meters! Why does that not count? Austin's testimony. Miss Austin spoke of something regarding Miss Geller, briefly during her second testimony that piqued my interest. Right, I remember Austin saying the victim tormented Geller the most, right? Correct. The reason for that being Geller's skill. Geller is able to make objects float, but she can't use that power however she'd like. Even if this were a simple case of telekinesis, it would take great powers of manipulation to kill someone through a wall. But with Miss Geller only able to float some objects, do you really think she'd be able to kill from afar? Is there a chance that Asta was wrong about that? It seems as though people used all their skills during the performances, so unless they're hiding what they can do on purpose, the possibility she's got the wrong idea is quite low. Turns out that Geller would have needed to get quite close to the victim to commit the murder, so we're right back to our original hypothesis. Yet the conclusion, this leads us to is the exact opposite. As long as it stands that Miss Geller didn't enter the scene of the crime during the window of time we've confirmed the victim died, Yulia Geller had no means of carrying out the murder.
これでユリア捜査線上の容疑者から外れた。
With this, we can clear Yulia Geller of suspicion. We've narrowed down our suspects to 2. But in the end, until we found out how the victim was murdered, it's going to be impossible to identify a murderer. We haven't figured out anything about the murder weapon either. We still don't know anything about the most important details of this case. If I may, although I cannot say anything for certain, I had a thought about a murder weapon. Maybe our murder weapon was hidden. I think it might have actually vanished. Vanished. It seems that you and I were having the same thought. One of our suspects is able to craft a weapon just like that. Precisely! It's possible because of the skill that that suspect has. These two are talking about our suspect's skills. Wait, her exit changed. I'm talking about the skills our suspect has. If these two are talking about our suspect's skills, perhaps they're referring to this. Yay! The skill was able to make a disappearing weapon. Is none other than Oz Aston's chain ice formation, right? In other words, you two think she crafted a weapon from ice? Precisely! That's what I think. From the state of the corpse, it's clear the weapon was a heavy, blunt instrument, yes? What? Why does she look like that? There's no way of hiding such a thing. It's obvious that it melted, melting into a puddle. Or it vanished, melting into a puddle. Oh, I just gave myself goose flesh. Speaking of puddles, there's one at the scene of the crime, no? Yet, even if the weapon were made of ice, Miss Aston never opened the door. We have no footprints that indicate she ever entered the premises. Well, she must have had a ways now. Her ways are exactly what we're here to investigate. There may have been a way around leaving footprints. If you take a look at the trace photo, there are a few square impressions left at the scene of the crime. Right about that. What on earth could have left such impressions? I thought they might have been like little stepping stones made of ice. If Aston were only to step on blocks made of ice, it would be possible for her to hide her footprints. It was a thought, but what do you all think? I don't think so. She didn't open the door at all. Oh, as the Americans say, Brian, give me some skin. Some goose flesh. Indeed. Oh, high five. Well, Sergeant, she seems bothered by something. Okay, let's go with that. Let's say the killer crept up on ice slabs and killed the victim with a blunt instrument made of ice. And what would she do on her way back? She could just leave them where they were now. They'd melt anyway. If someone went to the room before they'd had time to melt, she would have to stand guard in front of the room with the corpse until then. Well, she could have somehow melted them. It's a bit of a logical stretch, but just in case, shall I help them work through this? I actually have melted ice in a jiffy. It's not as though the means aren't there. He doesn't have that much range, though, is the thing. There's the box. There's like a heater, probably. So like it's like a generator, maybe? Warm tea. She only can use purified water. But that is a big That is a lot of water for it to just be tea. She said she was bringing him coffee. So that tea must have been something else. They want a conversation log, okay. I mean, sure. Let's see if the fire is what the game wants right now. Yeah, fire is what the game wanted. If Vernon used his ignition skill, it would have been possible for them to have melted the ice slabs. Indeed, that's the ticket. Aston and Vernon are accomplices in this crime. No, give me some skin. Take a rain check. I'll write you in for 8 o'clock tonight then. No, you're not actually entertaining their idea, are you? You don't think it fits. The water on the floor is clearly what Aston used for a skills catalyst. They must have melted the ice used for the murder weapon with Vernon's skill. That's why the carpet was soaked. Not in the right places. Are there really no holes in Detective Tenna's and Detective Brian's reasoning? I should have one more look at the clues I've gathered. There might be something I'm missing somewhere. Was the puddle on the carpet really made with blocks of ice I clearly remember Aston's skill having an important difference compared to other suspects. It required a catalyst. My apologies, but the water left on the floor couldn't have served as her catalyst. Excuse me. What exactly are you saying? Note, are you a spy? Please take a quick look at Aston's bureau file. Unlike our other suspects, Miss Aston's skill needs a catalyst. This catalyst serves certain conditions that need to be met for a skill to be put to use. In Aston's case, she needs water to use her skill. Yes, but specifically she needs purified water to use her skill. Your catalyst is all brown cows that give chocolate milk? Ooh. Best kind of cows. Why does that matter? Read the documents carefully. The liquid at the scene of the crime was entirely black tea. I see. Black tea is hardly purified water. Miss Aston couldn't have used it as her catalyst. So then our logic is... Oh gosh. I guess it is. Brian. Budium. I'd like you to return the skin you slapped me. Rather unfortunate. I thought our logic was quite sound. Hey, they high-fived. They high-fived to return the trade. I was just going on about returns. Logical! Oh. Yeah, the game asked me to save. Interesting. Is that the end of the... No, it's not the end. Giving up hope to people who've got nothing for them, only to rip that hope away. Absolutely wicked note. You're hearing logical like what? I could hardly say we've got nothing going for us. Did I do something wrong? Oh. I was thinking about it more. For some reason, the voice in my mind that's been in my head, or the voice that's been in my head every time I've said it, has always just been like the Mario Party announcer, the one that goes like chance time! And, start! Finish! That's the voice that I'm seeing, or seeing in my head. Oh. No, well, the logic. Then logic didn't really have a leg to stand on in the first place. If acid had made a weapon out of ice, we would have found a large tub to hold all that water.
悪くない遊びではあったわね。
Though, I must say, it was rather entertaining.
ひどいなんてよく
Just calling who wicked now.
これはそうと
One way or another,
このまま行くと
we've still got the same problem. After all this, we still have no one who could have killed the victim. That's where you're
被害
wrong.
者が死んでいる以上
As long as we have the victim's corpse on our hands, our killer has to be out there. However, we're considering that every staffer in this troop could be the culprit. We couldn't have missed a smidge of a clue.
それじゃやっぱり
Then it's all about the ice, huh?
本当に氷が
You've really got a thing for ice, don't you, Detective Tenna?
しかし
Yet from the lack of footprints, it's clear that no one entered the room during the time window when our victim died, and they couldn't have just flown in.
だからといって
Plus, I cannot simply think of a way for any of them to have committed the crime without stepping foot inside. After all, the range of our suspect's skills are also short.
なってるの
How on earth did that happen then? That's the first time all 3 members of our division have used their skills and not been able to find the culprit.
だから
So,
4人
we have to rely on our 4th member. You're talking about me again.
そう新人なんだし
Indeed.
どう
You're our newest member, so try your hand.
新人の責任
The responsibility shoveled onto the rookie is more burdensome than I thought.
言われなくたって
Even without her saying all that, I have no intention of giving up at this point.
自殺じゃない以上
Except in suicide, we've got to have a culprit on the loose. However, we've got no clues at the crime scene to go on. Every piece of information contradicts another. Let me think, is there anyone we're leaving out? Someone who could have made the impossible possible. The only possibility we've talked about that seems genuinely feasible is... That means she's way quicker than a freezer. Collateral? Oh, this is here now. All right, let's see. What are we trying to do? This little blurb explaining the victim's son. Pretty cheap that he only wrote 3 lines about himself. It would be worth knowing who designed this poster. See you tonight at 6. See you on Dartford. Tonight at 6. See you on Dartford Road. Now he was sleeping though. There's no way it would be suicide, unless he took sleeping pills for some reason, and then did something to fire stuff up there. Couldn't have missed a smidge of a clue. Couldn't have just flown in. Well, technically, she can just fly in. But I still don't think it's her.
一人
There may have been one other
かも
person.
しれません
Someone able to enter the room without leaving a single trace.
それってやっぱり
In the end, it's back to the ice.
氷だよね。
Huh?
それは
We
違う
already concluded that wasn't the
さっき
case.
結論が出
そろそろつまら
Your
な
theory is starting to be less. Your theory is starting to be less entertaining. Ugh.
しかしノート
But note, you're not making much sense either.
君はそういうことを言うな
Unless our culprit can sprout wings and fly, there's no way they could have possibly avoided being detected by me and Sarge. That's exactly what happened.
飛んで移
Our
動
our culprit flew.
なんだって
Excuse me. None of our suspects have a skill like
しま
that.
したよ
One does.
あ
But you're right. None can fly per se. Maybe we can say it's more like jumping through the air. Huh? Jumping through the air?
飛び
I
跳
feel
ねる
like I've read something like that before.
もしかして
Maybe right
これじゃ
here.
ないでしょうか
Oh, that's right. It's right there. The jumping jester. This poster. Right here. Yes, the person we've been searching for is pictured right here. Our jumping jester was able to enter the scene of the crime without leaving a single footprint.
現場に入るつまりこの
Thus, it's possible that our jumping jester was made to murder the victim, or able to murder the victim. And out of all the people we know, I can only think of one jester.
タワー
The
の
clown of Trump Tower, Yulia Geller. For that one person only, this crime becomes possible. In the end, after wandering around this for this long, we're back at the beginning with Geller being a culprit? Now, if we had singled out Geller as a culprit at the beginning, she would have had a number of ways to argue how she was innocent. However, now that we've reached this point and erased every other possibility,
結論は
the conclusion may be the same, but we're finally coming face to face with the truth of this case for the first time.
真相とその真相が
Unfortunate as the truth may be.
ものではない
Logical!
何ですか
What now?
ゲラーさん
Miss
こ
Geller,
の劇団
we
の
saw the poster with all of you on it. We're well aware of the fantastic stunts you're all able to pull off. Yes, and?
ゲラーさんの
But
技
of course your stunt, Miss Geller. What was it again? I can't quite remember.
話す気がないなら戻ってもいいでしょう
If you've
か
got nothing to say to me, can I go back for the others?
ノート
No, stop with the fanfare and get to the point. Stop with the fanfare and get to the point.
ゲラーさん
Miss Geller,
あなたは
your stunt is being able to walk on air, isn't it?
正確には
Ac-
飛び跳ねるで
Actually,
すけどね
actually, it's leaping.
まあ
I mean, leaping, dancing, it's all basically the same thing. The important thing is that you were able to enter the scene of the crime without leaving a single footprint using the sun of
そう
yours.
ですね
So it seems. Huh?
何を驚いているん
Why
で
does
す
this
か
surprise you? But no, you're not using that as a way of suspecting me for this, are you?
しかし足跡を残
But
さず
you're the only person who was able to enter the scene of the crime without leaving any footprints.
私は毎日現場に行きま
I'm
す
always going in and out of there.
私が犯行の
Even if I were to leave a footprint after committing some sort of crime, I would say they were from shortly before.
いえ
You actually
それでは
couldn't have because of Detective Brian's.
そうか
Right.
この人は
She doesn't know we can tell everything
写真まで
to the time trace evidence was left.
つまり
To the time trace evidence was left.
でも
In other words, even if Miss Geller is our culprit,
私が犯
even
人
if I were the killer, I wouldn't have to go through the trouble of hovering.
必要がありま
Plus,
せ
I'm
ん
not that good at controlling my skill in the first place. I don't really use it except on stage.
それとも
Her accent changed, hold
私
on.
がスキルを使って現場に
Or
入
is it that you have evidence I used my skill at the scene of the crime?
それなんです
About that, give me a moment.
どうしましょう
I'm just here standing behind him. What should I do?
どうする
What do you think? Geller's claim is reasonable. After all, there's no way for her to know of Brian's skill.
確かにゲラ
She's
は
right. That she'd have no reason to float through the air to enter that room. Even if she were to leave a set of footprints, we'd have no way of proving the footprints were left at the time of the crime without my skill. It can't be. Did I get it wrong? It can't be. Did I get it wrong again? Still, I think you've got the right idea, Note.
ゲラーは今ま
In
で
her statements thus far,
興奮する姿を
Geller's been quite easy to get worked up, but now she's being pointed out as a prime suspect.
時間かかりますか
It'll be taking much longer.
少し外で待っ
Could
て
you wait outside for a moment?
見て
See, she's calm and collected.
多分いつ
She
か
probably expected this moment would come, and she's prepared to counter arguments well. Oh, I think that's the case. I can't be sure. No, what you're saying sounds plausible. What do the rest of you think?
容疑者の心理を読み
When it comes to Tenna and her suspect's psyche, she's never wrong. I believe you can trust her call. Detective Tenna, I should have known. There's a reason she's in charge of the interrogations. Still comes as a shock.
国王は
Gala stepped through the air when she entered her crime scene, but her reason for doing so wasn't to hide any trace of her being in there. In other words, Ms. Geller had a different reason for using her skill. I'm not sure what that could be, though. We're still lacking some sort of clue. She went to try to rescue the bird, maybe. I really think so. We staffers have already looked into this case. We've uncovered lies, detected the invisible, and read into the past. No matter the skill, it's impossible for a culprit not to leave behind some sort of clue. A clue remains, we just overlooked it. We wrote it off as something that didn't pertain to the case, because it was all too neat. What? Well, not you. It's not the clues that are lacking, but our overall logic. That's my feeling in this case. In the end, it's all feelings and perceptions. Aston confirmed that the victim was alive at 8 o'clock, and Vernon confirmed that he was dead by 8:45. Somewhere in between, Gela must have used her skill to sneak into that room. When she did, she must have left a clue. Is there really nothing? It's the fucking feather. Is there really nothing to go on? With everything at the scene of the crime, there was no suspicious trace. Evidence left it. Okay, whatever. Did the feather land on her while she was floating? Is that what happened? It's not the feather. The impression? What? We still don't know what what caused that. But if she... One strong shock felt after, then the sound ceases. Oh. Geller really is her killer. She must have visited the scene of the crime between 8 o'clock and 8:45. Did she leave any trace evidence of having done that? The window is very closed. How did she get in if she just went in? I guess maybe she just floated over. Ah, the boxes. Maybe? She's using it as a stepping stone? When you say clues, something does come to mind. There were those square impressions left at the crime scene. Do y'all remember them? Of course. The ones Brian claimed were stepping stones made of ice. We concluded they weren't ice in the end. Exactly, then we just naturally moved past them. But now that I'm thinking about them again, they were made at 8:30. That's within the time frame the victim was murdered. Thus, they must be connected to the crime, but why were they even made? About that, it's not just those impressions. There are still so many clues in this case we can't come up with a proper explanations for. Our overall hypothesis was wrong. Something I believed to be true turned out to be false. If that one falsehood led all these errors... Sergeant. Yes? What is it? I'm gonna make a bit of a mess! Oh, Hexalogic, what is this? New minigame? Stop, what are you doing? Why are you fooling around with these official documents? No, I think you should fix this habit of yours of taking your stress out on inanimate objects. This isn't about stress. If it's not, then we have even more to worry about. I've been thinking about things all wrong. The secrets hiding in the deepest can't be solved by simply connecting two clues. However, if we connect all the fragments left in different places, I have no idea what you're talking about. But are you saying you can make sense of this? I am. I'm using supernatural abilities to investigate a case where someone with a supernatural ability killed someone else with a supernatural ability. In this situation, it would be insane to stick with common sense. I've already gathered my clues. Let's toss out common sense, take every basis of thought, and smash them all! He's gonna demolish them all. 6 clues that reveal 6 of them? How do I get rid of this? Okay, so just one, there's one for each of them. Alios Yulia, who suffered the most. Blah, blah, blah. How long can she keep her ability? We don't have her thing with us. I don't know. Five match correctly. Okay, so it is this one. Okay. I've unlocked it. That's it. If you think about it like that, it explains everything. And to prove it, Ms. Geller, please come back in. Is your strategy session finishing up? It is. And from that strategy session, we have come up with a suggestion for you. What might that be? Wait, let's see what it's going to do. Ms. Geller, your son is leaping through the air, so you could show that to Detectives Senna and Brian here. So could you show this to Detectives Brian and... I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, that would be quite difficult. As I said before, I'm not that good at controlling my skill. Those two could be in danger if they're too close. It's fine. Oh, hate attack! It's very much not fine. She said it's dangerous for us. You two simply won't get too close when Ms. Geller performs a stunt. Oh, wait. You two simply won't get too close when Ms. Geller performs a stunt. If you wish, we have no problem setting up a suitable location for you. We just need you to show it to us a single time. If you just show us, I promise we won't bother you or your friends any longer. Wait a second, note. That's quite the promise you're tossing out there. I'll permit it. Handy! Have you lost your marbles? Sorry. I want to see what happens next. Perhaps my curiosity has gotten the better of me. Well, if the Sarge has given her permission, there's nothing we can do about it.
給料に見合わない
I'm not the only one who's thinking about her job and salary.
わかりました
I
まさか
accept. You're not going to back out on your end of the promise, are you?
もちろんです。
Of course not. I can swear to whatever God you believe in.
それじゃあ
Well then,
ここ
let
で
me
すぐ
begin right
始め
here.
ます
Let me begin right
先ほど
here.
言った通り
If I said,
絶対に近づかない
as I said, you mustn't get close.
これが
This is my
私の
stunt.
技です
My word.
これを見るために
People play to see this.
舞台では
I'll have you know that I even chuckle up here when I take the stage.
これは一体
Stunt? What on earth?
ちょっと
Don't give her that much grief for it.
ないで
Bro, she's showing us for free.
そうじゃない
That's not it. It's just...
ブリアンさん。
Detective Brian, please describe exactly what you're seeing.
包み隠す
How does Miss Gelder's levitation look through your
空
eyes?
中浮遊じゃないユリア・ゲラーが空中
She's not levitating. As soon as she rose into the air below her,
四角形の跡ができた
I saw a trace of the same square.
跡と同じもの
The same as the trace evidence left at the scene of the crime. Trace... You're a sofa!
物体
There must be contact. There must be contact between two objects for trace to be left. In other words... there must be contact between two objects for trace to be left. In other words,
さんは今
you're not making yourself float in the air, Miss Geller. You're just stepping up and standing there.
のスキルで
There's an invisible object under you, and you created it. No. What's this about an invisible object? This is all coming out of nowhere. This is your real skill, Miss Geller. You can create invisible objects of any size and manipulate them at will. To put it in official terms,
生物体
indiscernible object fabrication. What? Telekinesis.
みんな
Everyone thought of it like that, but that's not the case.
それが間違ってはめられ
This is the piece of the puzzle that wasn't fitting.
ゲラーさん
Miss Geller, from the very beginning, you've been hiding your true skill.
あなたの
The stunt you have of leaping through the air, if it wasn't that you were lifting up your body with your skill, you've been making invisible footholds and jumping onto them.
にしては
Telekinesis, that label sounded rather grandiose. Yet the statements of the audience members and those around Gello were consistent, so I never doubted them. Note, you may not know this yet, but it's a serious crime to lie about one's skill in this country. Why would Gello take a risk to hide her skills like that?
ゲラーさんの自身
She only began to hide her skill after coming under the employ of Trump Tower. When you think of all that happened back then, it's rather easy to predict exactly why Ms. Geller felt it necessary to hide her true skill.
ゲラーさん
When the victim first saw Ms. Geller leaping through the air, he must have thought, finally, I've found it. I've finally found the acrobat I've been looking for, wielding the power of telekinesis. But it was too good to be true. Ms. Geller's true skill was creating invisible objects. As time passed, Ms. Geller realized she wasn't the person the ringleader was looking for. Thus she began her efforts to hide this fact from him. All this matches your statement, isn't that right, Ms. Geller? Your string of lies, they were all to keep you at Trump Tower. The truth you tried to hide is not just the range of some small intricacy regarding your skill, and now we all know it. The truth of your skill itself was a grand forgery. Your skill didn't use telekinesis. Telekinesis plays no part in it. Wow. How did a staffer become an investigator? They revealed it. Now she can just reveal it in court.
今
I think I get it now.
ようやく分か
I
った
understand how you saw through all my lies.
そこの男性だけ
It's
じゃ
not
な
just this
く
gentleman here, there.
捜査官の皆さん
Every investigator in this room is a staffer, isn't that right?
なんでしょう
I'm not a staffer.
ブレスレット
Your bracelets aren't lit
合
up,
ってはいま
but
せ
you
ん
wear them just like other
し
staffers.
まったな
She found us out, though strictly speaking, I'm no staffer.
管理局に縁がないあな
You
た
have
が
no connections to the bureau, so you wouldn't understand.
管
However,
理
some bureau divisions do employ a number of staffers. They merely keep it confidential, so it doesn't interfere with operations.
そういうことって
Should
話して
you
も
be
いい
telling her that?
犯人
No
に
need to hide such information from our
も
perpetrator.
う抵抗
After all, I doubt he's going to continue
おっ
resisting.
しゃる通り
Just as he said,
私の
detective,
スキルは
my skill has nothing to do with
能力じゃありません
telekinesis. Instead, just as he said, detective, my skill has nothing to do with telekinesis. Instead, I'm able to create invisible objects at will.
物体は基本的に
Objects are more or less cube shaped, but I can create them in various weights and sizes, making them handy in a variety of situations. That's probably how the word manipulation worked its way into my skill name. I've been placing objects on top of my invisible objects and floating them around, calling it telekinesis.
周りの人間みんなを騙すなんて
She's rather brave to try to deceive everyone around her like that. Of course, you know everything now, yes?
全部知って
How
る
I killed the ringleader.
凶器が何だったの
What
か
I used to kill him.
もしかして
Come to think of it, we haven't figured out the mystery of the vanishing murder weapon. Alright,
凶器
the weapon. You still haven't found it, have you?
まずいわ。
This isn't good.
はい
What? In the end, I turned out to be quite the bad girl. Hide my tied my skill from the ringleader. Tied my skill from the ringleader. Basically my family. I have no excuse for the fraud you accuse me of.
だけど
However, I didn't kill him.
本気なのか
Is she telling the truth? Or is she trying to hold out on us?
ゲラーさん
Geller, Miss Geller, you're the only person we can say for sure committed this crime.
私にも不
I
可
couldn't have done it either. After all, it's a murder weapon. You've got trace evidence on the floor, yes? Do you have any proof it was my skill that left it?
あるんですか
As I said before, I had no reason for using my skill to go into that room. And even if I did go in there, I had no weapon to kill him with.
団長私が
You think I could do that? To his head with my bare hands? Don't be so absurd. Are you trying to make me lose my job here? The audacity.
約束を
So
守
time for you to keep your word. No more questions for any of us.
そろそろ
I think it might be time to reveal what the vanishing weapon might
チ
be.
ーム長
Sergeant,
心当たり
Sergeant.
はあるんですか
do you have any ideas? I mean, no, obviously you're about to figure it out.
それが
What was that made obvious exactly? Obvious exactly.
今日が初
That was my first day on the job!
そうね
Right. I'm relieved to see you're adjusting so well.
これは
Arduous path I'm about to set on is slowly coming to light.
考えてみると
Now that I'm thinking about it, we've talked about the disappearing weapon quite a number of times. We haven't uncovered a single thing about it. All we can be sure of is that it had a considerable heft to it. Otherwise, a single blow to the head wouldn't have smashed in his skull like that. It's not that easy to cave in a person's skull, so the object in question has to weigh at least 20 kilograms. Something like that to just disappear. You'd think such a thing to be impossible, but since the deceased remains a murder victim, we have to say it was possible. Geller must have some means of making the impossible possible. Let's look at our documents one more time. There may be a piece of information that can be seen in a new light.
知れない
Um... Is that more than 20 kilograms, though?
わかったぞ
Alright.
やっと
I
わかり
finally
ました
figured you out, Ms. Geller.
ゲラーさん
I know how you killed the victim. Well, how'd you really figure it out? What's the weapon? And no more importantly, where'd it go? Was it actually ice in the end?
交渉だから
Please let the ice bit go.
凶器は消え
The
た
weapon didn't vanish. It was never there. It was never there.
凶器なん
There
か
was no weapon.
凶器は
There was
最
never a weapon to begin with, and honestly,
それこそゲラーさ
that
ん
only serves to further prove that Miss Geller is our culprit.
それはどういう
What's that supposed to mean? I truly didn't follow a word.
皆さん
Everyone, have a look at Miss Geller's bureau file. Specifically, check the notes section at the bottom.
ここに書いてあ
That's
る
where we write down a brief description of the skill. It's talking about maximum weight that can be transferred to an object or weight limit of the object to be moved. Now we figured out that Geller's skill is in telekinesis, so the information written here...
だから
The information!
ゲラーが作る
It's talking about the properties of the objects Geller can create, yes? That's right. And the information on her bureau file refers to the weight, number, size, and duration of the objects in question.
特に注
And the part we should be paying attention to right now is the weight. Wait a minute. It's 20 kilograms! I heard that exact number just a second ago. That's the number Sergeant quoted. She said the murder weapon must have weighed at least 20 kilos. Finally, we found an object that meets her condition. We have.
じゃないということ
We now know that, we now know what you mean in saying that an object never existed.
ゲラーさん
Ms. Geller, only Ms. Geller could have committed this crime without a weapon. Only she was able to make her own weapon.
目には見えず
Can't see it, don't need to carry it around, and it vanishes after time runs out.
時間が過ぎ
You used that as a weapon only you could use.
自分の
You created a weapon, you used an object created with your skill to murder your victim. To make a better clown than me. You really think I could swing around a cube that weighs 20 kilograms? Just imagine I could do that. Our ringleader's head was smashed to bits. Do I look that strong to you?
必ずしも
In truth, you wouldn't have to swing it.
あなたが言った
Don't you remember what you said before? Your skill allows you to create objects wherever you will then. so she created in the sky. But her limit is 2 meters.
場所は足元に限らないということ。
You can only make one wherever you please.
あなたの体から
In other words, your transparent objects don't appear at your feet. You can create one anywhere within 2-meter radius of your body. I guess you could float up there and then create it. But you know, that doesn't require her, this line of logic doesn't really matter then, because if she can just float up there.
被害
For example, above your victim's head.
被害
If
者
a 20-kilo object that appeared high above the victim's head were to fall straight down, wouldn't such a situation be within the realm of possibility? That's unfortunate.
何がですか？
What is? The situation you describe is impossible. That wouldn't leave the ringleader's head in the state I found it.
でもあなた
You
は
can make an object weighing up 20 kilograms, so as long as you dropped it from high enough, it's just the thing. Dropping it from high enough, I couldn't pull that off.
それはどう
Was that supposed to...
なるほどね。
I get it. Your range, right?
射程距離
Her range? Seems like someone who's thinking like a normal human. That's exactly right. My max range is only 2 meters. I can't create an object outside that range. Even if I were to drop something from 2 meters up, I'd have to be really lucky to kill someone. Busting in a school like that is simply impossible. If things went how you say they went, I'd have to drop it from at least double that. I need to drop it from at least 4 meters up. 4 meters, that's a very specific number. How can you be so sure of that height? I've tried a few things out with my skills. For the sake of our shows, of course. No, I'm sorry, but I was thinking the same thing. An object falling from 2 meters wouldn't have done that to our corpse. I'm starting to understand, so let's just give up. You promised. I'm sorry, I simply can't do that.
テナさんが言った通りだ。
Just then, as Detective Tenna said, Miss Geller's staying calm and collected, sticking to the scripts we prepared in advance. Though I can hear a slight tremor in her voice. I'm slowly driving her into a corner. There hasn't been a single flaw in my logic up to this point. It's clear that the victim was killed by a fallen object.
ゲラーさんの主張と
Yet it is as Miss Geller claims, her range is insufficient for the crime. In order for Geller to have committed the crime, she would have had to make up for the height difference somehow. I mean, she could stand... Well, I guess she could stand on the desk, but the desk is not 2 meters tall. But I mean, we don't know the origin point for her radius. So maybe, she's at least 1 meter tall, so she can put it above her head. She's probably at least 1 meter tall, right? She's a normal-sized woman.
例えば家具なんかの上に登って
For instance, she could have climbed up onto a piece of furniture before using her skill. No, if that were the case, Brian would have seen some footprints on the furniture with his skill.
その足跡
There were no such footprints. In fact, at the scene of the crime, Ms. Geller left no footprints in the room at all, yet... Speaking of which, there was something that happened when Ms. Geller entered the room. I have one more suspicion. Perhaps that suspicion could turn into a clue?
もうユリ
No,
ア
there's no way Geller's getting out of this one. This may be the final answer we're seeking. Tell me, what did she use to create an object 4 meters above the victim's head?
物体を作り出し
We know she can gain altitude.
なのか
Bookshelf? We didn't check the bookshelf for prints on it. No memory of use for a month. Deformed by extreme temperatures. I mean... Whoa! Yo, Suppy! Welcome in! Happy New Year, Raiders! How you been? How is the randomizer going? We're playing like a demo for a mystery game right now. Hope you're having a good one. Welcome in, Raiders. I'm VL. I like to play mystery games, usually. Sometimes horror games, sometimes other things. And we're currently digging into a demo for a mystery game called Staffer Case. It's about people with supernatural powers, and we're solving mysteries like that. New Year jump scare, right? How's it going? How you been? Oh, you just played regular RE4 this time. I was there. I wasn't like I watched for a little bit, but I wasn't really paying that much attention. But yeah, how was it? It was. Why are you just playing regular RE4? Okay, let's see here. So, what did you use to gain height? Able to control 2 objects at once. That means you can float up to 2 meters. I don't know what the game wants out of me. Oh, was that? Okay, thank you. Let's just stop and think about it. There's something else we haven't figured out besides her murder weapon. Something else? Why is it that Miss Geller used the object she made to enter the room?
そうだった。
But of
その
course,
理由が分かった
have you figured out the reason why? Yes, and the answer to that question is connected to the means Miss Geller used to murder her victim. Miss Geller was intent on using her skill to kill her victim. However, she wasn't sure if a single swing of one of her objects would kill him instantly. If the victim didn't die immediately and were to let out a yell, that would spell big trouble for her. And that's why she settled on dropping the object from a height to do him in. Yet she knew that her range was too short. There was no guarantee that an object dropped from 2 meters would silence him in one blow.
何よ。ゲラーが部屋に入るとき。
But didn't you say you were going to explain why why she used her skill to enter the room? You haven't figured it out? Why did Ms. Geller use her skill to go inside? How could she be certain she could kill him instantly when she was lacking height? Each question provides an answer to the other.
君の話を
If I can sum up what you're trying to say, the reason Geller used her skill to enter the room was to make sure she killed him with a single blow.
させるためだ
Ah.
ったと。あ
Ah!
そういうことね。
That's why. It is. She thought up a plan. A way to create an object at a height that would surely kill her victim. No, when I really think about it, I'd be willing to bet she already knew her plan, huh? Ms. Geller's solution. She's obviously the murderer. She has a tear doubt. She's the clown. She just has that for being a clown. It was none other than the stunt she pulled on stage. Her stunt? By that you mean the air-walking clown bit. As she puts it, the jumping gesture. Is that right, Miss Geller? Miss Geller can only create objects up to 2 meters from her body. If she wanted to create an object higher than that, she'd have to climb up higher. Leaping, really, up into the air. That's why she used her skill to enter the room, to get up to the height required to commit the crime. Geller's range is 2 meters. That means she could create a foothold up to 2 meters away. After she climbs up those 2 meters, another 2 meters from that, she carries the object that will take her life. The resulting object would be 4 meters off the ground. Miss Geller, that satisfies the condition for the murder you set yourself. However, if you check the trace left at the crime scene, we can see other footholds she's created starting at the entrance. How can that be? Miss Geller's skill. All of the invisible objects she's able to create. If she started with a block 2 meters high, she'd never be able to climb it. That's right. She started off with some lower steps, and then she slowly increased the height of the footholds as she climbed up each one. Just like a set of stairs. So it really isn't an air-walking clown. I see the jumping jester thing now. That's exactly how she committed a crime, too. Even before entering the room, she was already on a small step. Then, little by little, she climbed, moving ever closer to her victim. By the time Geller was in front of the victim, she was close to her maximum height of 2 meters. And then at max height, Ms. Geller made the largest object she could at 20 kilograms and let it fall.
落下させて。下にいた
She
被
took the
害
life
者の
of the
命を
victim who
奪った
slept beneath her, and she made sure to finish the deed.
被害者は
Anybody could have seen the victim was deceased. Ms. Geller then fled the scene of the crime, relieved to be done with it. If there was one thing you didn't consider, it was your nightly routine, yes?
被害者は
The victim had a habit of drinking a cup of coffee every night at 9 o'clock, and it was your job, Ms. Geller, to bring it to him.
ゲラーさんは
You knew that as the first person to find the body, you'd be suspected for the crime, but you couldn't not go either.
だから
If you differed from your usual schedule, you'd draw suspicion from the police.
結局いつものように
In the end, you made the cup of coffee as usual and made your way to the victim's office, but there was no one there to drink it.
ユリア・ゲラーさん
Miss Yulia Geller, you are the culprit.
犯人です。
はい
Yes, it was me. I killed the ringleader.
私を殺しました。
Yay?
では保護観
Well
察官
then,
に
I shall call the probation's office. She folded quick. Oh, we've been interrogating her for a while. Alright, let's see. I'll leave that up to you.
これ
So
ペ
these
ッパー専用
are the cuffs you only use on staffers. Rumor has it there's a bomb inside that'll explode if I
爆弾が
resist.
仕込まれていえそんな危ない
Oh, none of that. Nothing so dangerous. Just a high voltage electrical current and a neurotoxin.
爆弾と
For me, that might as well be a bomb.
すみません
Sorry, rules are rules. But you never know when an invisible brick's gonna fall on my head, right?
頭の上に
厳しい決まりだな。
Harsh rules.
今回の
Considering today's events, though, it does seem justifiable.
入らせてくれないんですか
Why won't you let? Oh wait. Why won't you let us in? I just want to see her face. Yeah, that was the accent I gave her.
話
Yolo couldn't have done that. Let us talk to her. Yulia,
私たちが行か
Yulia, can you hear us? Don't say a word until we get to the station, okay?
バーノンさんオズ
Mr. Vernon. Us.
テナ外に行って
タナ
ブリアンを手
I'll
伝
help Brian outside.
も
Oh,
うそういえば
come to think of
まだ
it,
明らかにして
there's
いない
one thing we haven't quite figured out, huh?
はい。
That?
そん
No,
な
that can't be right.
ユリア・ゲラーさん
Miss Yulia Geller.
被害
The
者
part
の
of your
裏
statement
切り
about not holding the grudge toward the victim was no lie.
それなら
Then why?
あ
Why
なた
kill the
を殺
man?
して
団長に借金があったことは
You know the
ご存知ですよね。
ringleader. You know the ringleader held a considerable debt, right?
団長は
To
その
settle his debt, he was going to sell off the Trump Tower circus troupe.
この劇団を劇
He
場
said he was going to sell not only the
ト
theater,
ランプタワ
but
ー
also the right to perform under the Trump Tower brand.
19時
And when I was called into his office at 7:30,
私
the
が
ringleader spilled the black tea I brought him and yelled at me like he was getting something off his chest.
全部お前
He said it was all my fault. That everything was how it was because I was such a lousy person. I couldn't disagree with the man.
被害者の借金は
But everyone said the debt was because of his gambling, no?
そうですけど
Yet, he said the reason he turned to gambling was because of the declining profits from the theater.
劇団の
That part I was responsible for. This woman, she's been blaming herself for everything all night. How'd you get into this state?
私は団長に頼み込み
No, we're in London. That's why I've been giving you everyone British accents except the main character, who's apparently from New Mexico, but I don't know what New Mexico people sound like in the 1960s. So he gets to have a weird southern accent.
無駄に殴られました
I pleaded with him. I said I'd do anything. He asked if he just hold on a little longer. And that's when he hit me.
分かっていましたけどね
I knew it was coming. He's not the sort of person to change his mind just because I opened my mouth. I had to stop him. But there's only one way to do that. Yeah, their names are really weird. The main character's name is not Rick Case. Everyone calls him Note. Her name is Pandora Redfin. I think she's gonna be a red herring at some point. Pandora or Pandoria? The other girl's name is Thena. I don't know. Tena? I don't know. I don't know what her last name is. I don't remember. And I don't remember what the other dude's name was. It was something Brian. It was something weird though. Let me see. Then we have these two. This is Frederick Vernon. Frederick and not Rick. Oh yes, his name was Caucasus. It's so weird. Uriah Geller is probably one of the most normal names here. And we got, what's her name? Oz? Is this short for something? Did her parents just name her Oz? For me, all I could do, it was all I could do. Trump Tower is the only place I can live like any other normal human. Instead of losing this place, I'd rather... In the end, you figured out it was me who did it. But things didn't turn out so bad. The rise to Trump Tower will fall to Vernon. Three of us are going to continue together if we could. We're going to continue together if we could. Are you happy? What? Whatever reason you might have, you still killed a man. Don't you feel the least bit guilty? Guilty. Am I even allowed to feel something like guilt? How can I put this? I'm sad the person I killed is dead. Can I really say I regret it after everything I've done, though? If someone who brutally killed another person were to turn around and have the nerve to cry about it, would you really accept that? Sergeant, I'm sorry. Would you mind if I waited at the car? Alright, you've done enough. Ms. Geller, due to the provisions of the contract made between the Bureau and the Attorney General's office, you'll be sent to a prison belonging to the former. I will give you a moment to talk to the other members of your troop. They're not listening to us anyway, so make your peace. Alright. And sorry. I'm sorry for today. I lost her voice again. No, I'm sorry. I guess we don't have to worry about her voice anymore, though, because, you know, she got caught on my first day of work. I was nearly shot at, kicked off the force, but in the end, solved the case. Why do I feel this way? On top of that, I can't see Big Ben from here either. What was my reason exactly? What on earth brought me to this city? I don't know, you just accepted a job offer from some random guy you just hadn't met before. Case closed. Man Affairs Division 16X 1030 1835. This is all the same day. It only took like 3 hours, which I guess is about how long our stream was. Looks like you solved the case. Stopping by again. You're back alone. I sent Note off because he said he needed to get some fresh air. Nota, I see you've grown a liking to the detective case. How is he, up to snuff? He definitely helped us out, and he's quite the talented individual compared to me. However, I think calling him a genius as he did is pushing it. He's a little clumsy in places, and more than anything, he's severely lacking in his understanding of phenomena. So that's not the whole job, is it? 42 minutes. Besides the time it took us to get there and back. That's how long he spent on this case. Accepting the time it took us to survey the crime scene. That is significantly shorter than before. Before Notre came along, it took us 3 times at our very fastest. Normally it takes people time to read through and comprehend the documents. Time to understand all the clues and come to a conclusion. Notrek's logical abilities need neither. There's almost no gap between his receiving a question and coming up with the answer. Honestly, following his steps in logic is too much to ask. It's not simply a matter of intelligence either. But kid, are you sure he's no staffer? From the way he describes it when he focuses on something, he feels like time around him ceases to flow. However, no mana was detected coming from Detective Case that you'd normally find when staffers use their skills. You know what that means, right? Notrek's abilities stem purely from his talent. Seems that way. Phenomenal ability is indistinguishable from phenomena. Actually, maybe it's more than that. Rather interesting, is it not? Imagine what a talented boy could do in this city when he's not weighed down by the disadvantages of being a staffer. Is that really the only reason you hired him? Sergeant Redfin's The tone you just took makes me feel like this is an interrogation, and that bothers me a bit.
失礼しました。
My apologies. Why the sharp turn? Something not go your way?
まさか
Quite the opposite.
事件も無事
Our case is closed, so I was just about to go out for a smoke.
克服した
Smoking is bad for you. You should turn to sweets like me. I stopped by this new ice cream parlor in the square, and it's not half
そんな
bad.
ことをおっしゃるなら
If you knew you'd bring it up,
私たちの分も買ってきてください
you should have brought some to share.
途中で溶け
Melted. Fourth floor balcony. Oh. This is the header.
いるの
Somebody there. Oh,
事
Sergeant.
務長
ここ
How'd you find this
どう
place?
してわかったの
The way up here is an absolute maze, and I'm pretty much the only one able to navigate it.
知らない場所なの
5階の案内
Saw the map on the fourth floor, noticed a space that looked different from the other floors, so...
そう
Okay,
大体わかっ
I
た
think I follow.
だけどあまり歩き回らない方がいいわ
Still, it'd be better if you didn't wander around too much. If you wander into a prohibited area, it'll be the firing squad for you.
今確信したん
I
です
figured
が
it out a short time ago, but as I expected, our employer is the worst
そんなこ
around.
とが言えるなんて
Hearing you say that, I guess you're finally a full-fledged employee. Honestly, I thought you were just joking a second ago, or joking just a second ago.
光栄だわ
I'm honored you think that.
タバコは
Cigarettes?
いえ
I don't smoke.
すいません
そう
Alright.
いい景色でしょ
Nice view. Huh?
霧のせいで
You can barely see through all the fog.
そうね
Right? Good luck today.
晴れた日
Honestly, that's not a good view on a clear day.
景色じゃない
There are only factories and slums out that way, and a slum out that way.
霧で隠れると
Only when the fog covers all the muck that the view is worth looking at.
それがよ
At least it's worth looking at for me.
チーム長
Sergeant, those three at Trump Tower,
の人たちは
they seem to harbor some resentment toward the Bureau.
管理局はステッカー
I mean, it does seem natural for them to not like us since we put regulations on the staffers, but this feels like a lot more than that.
ゲラーさんが言っ
It
て
was something Miss Geller said, just being a staffer is like a wound you have to deal with, to live with.
この年
Sergeant, is life as a staffer in this city difficult?
苦しいわ
It is.
どうしてですか
Why is that?
そんな
Don't your don't your skills make life easier for you?
それは
If you want the answer to that question, you'll need to take a look at a bureau file.
管理
A
上
bureau file? There's a part of every bureau file that shows just how staffers are viewed in this city.
どう扱われ
Do
て
you know which part I'm referring to?
レベル
You're talking about the threat level.
そうよ
That's right.
ステッパーの
Giving staffers a threat level presumes that every staffer poses a threat.
そのステッパー
We predict the amount of damage each staffer is capable of causing, and we regulate them accordingly.
コルトレ
At a cult level, Geller might well have been born with a revolver in her hand.
出入りできる場
We
所
restrict her access to certain places that would have been impossible for her to find a proper job. Then add to that the amount of discrimination she has to tolerate from the rest of society.
スキルに利用価値がある
Of course, there are times when a skill is recognized as useful, and the Bureau hires the staffer on.
ブリアン
Have you noticed the metal bracelets Dana and Brian wear?
しているのは見
I've got got one of them on under my sleeve too.
た同じ
All staffers are required by law to wear them.
タワーの皆さんも同じ
The
ブレスレット
performers at Trump Tower are wearing those bracelets too, huh?
ただ
And unlike the one Detective Brian wears, theirs were lit up.
その
The light represents the staffer's threat level.
光
Geller and Vernon are yellow for their coat level, and Aston was green for her bowie level.
管理局所
Staffers who work at the Bureau are able to hide the color of their lights. That's why my bracelet isn't lit up.
管理
In
局
other words, staffers outside the Bureau are required by law to wear a bracelet that displays their threat level.
ステッパーは
Staffers are treated like they were threats from the moment they're born and can never hide the fact that they have skills.
ゲラーさんが
Miss Geller. That's why she was so obsessed with her fellow performers at Trump Tower.
あなたがどんな理想を抱い
I have no idea what sort of ideals brought you to London, but I think maybe this isn't the sort of place you thought it was going to be.
求めて国
Not sure what it was that brought me here.
の能力で人助
Told myself it was to use my talents to help people, but I doubt it was really for something so noble. It's like I wanted to be the protagonist of a detective novel, solving some cryptid case at a single glance.
周りから尊敬されて
Revered by those around me, making a good deal of cash, fighting cases with a dim-witted assistant tagging along. That's vaguely what I imagined.
本当にそんなくらい
Honestly, I never thought I'd be able to live that sort of life, but still,
才能
I accepted the offer to join the team
と受けま
because
した
I thought I could put my talents to good use.
ところが
However, once I solved that case, I figured something out.
死んだのは
The person who killed wasn't a character from a novel, or who was killed wasn't a character from a novel. He was real. A real asshole! A real person. It was a real person who killed him. Yeah, she was real. She was a real one. I was the only character there, the relaxed inspector. Then I started having these thoughts. Was there no better alternative for the victim and the culprit? Will Geller try to get revenge on me if she's let out of prison? Why did I go through all that to catch the criminal when no one is rewarded for her being behind bars? Did I really do the right thing? So with all that, they're just thoughts. The victim, Dean, started out as a respectable ringleader. That only changed when Yulia Geller joined the Trump Tower troupe. Udine took out a loan to buy props for young Yulia Geller's performance, but the returns were poor. Udine started gambling to pay off the debts the circus took on, and then addiction took hold. Geller said it herself, all the blame was on her. Geller knew she caused it all, so she was ready to protect Trump Tower at all costs. Then she settled on murder, the worst means possible. Geller continued after that. She said she was looking for someone to stop her and punish her for her crimes. Perhaps Geller is actually grateful that you solved this case. Are you serious? And that last part was a lie. Isn't that going too far? Seriously? If what I said was true, would that give our job some other meaning? No, a detective's job is always the same. Note. Take note. We're here to find the truth. It's not our job to make the world a better place or tell right from wrong. We're just here to find the truth. If it's something else you're wanting, use the time you'd grumble and cry to get on a plane or whatever and head back home. However, if you don't know what you want, then stay here. Stay, find whatever truth may come, and keep on complaining like you are today. After all, there are certain things that start just that way. Making the world a better place, telling right from wrong. Maybe you'll find whatever it is you're looking for along the way. Well, shall we head back to work? We've still got the reports to write up about our case today. Could I rest here just a little bit longer? It's sort of hazy, but I think you can just make out the hands of a clock out that way. Unfortunate, really. This place used to be all mine. Alright. I guess that's case one. No, it's still going. We're still going. I guess we do gotta talk to everyone else, maybe. Good. Just like that. We'll summarize the events as they occurred. I just have to write it out like this? That should be sufficient. Now we just need to sign at the bottom, and that's that. Time to hit the pub. When you're done with that one. What about this one? Isn't this the same document we just filled out? The last document was our report to Detective Chief Inspector. This is what we will send to the police. Try to avoid referencing skills as much as possible while you fill this one out. City people have their fair share of inconveniences too. Does anyone have any supernatural powers that allow them to automatically fill out paperwork? They're not supernatural powers. I know. Their skills, right? Because supernatural powers makes them sound cultish? Indeed. You're catching on. Note. The first time we met, I was quite disrespectful. And I still haven't apologized for that, have I? Stop, you don't really need to apologize. And I guess I won't. Hiring you on was the right decision. Thank you. Congratulations! Congratulations, because you solved the case! Alright, so what's she singing? Apologies for the late return. Did you have a lot of work to do? Did it take longer than expected? Were the roads congested? About that, you were late because we had to pick up this! Happy birthday! A cake. Indeed, it's a bit of a welcoming gift. At a celebration of the first case you solved. That's for me. Come now, we're completely blown away. We had no idea you'd solve such a complicated case. I guess the chief's gets a few things right every once in a while. It's quite unfortunate we had you on the case today, Note. It's got happy birthday written on it. Oh, that was the only one they had left. Come now, it's a cake. What's written on it isn't important. Here, note. Flash your candles. Oh, okay. Cheers! Bloody terrific. This whole affair! No, it really is a birthday party. 40. Note, I do apologize. I'll make you a proper cake later on. Huh? I'm not angry or anything, it's just I've never been welcomed like this. Actually, I had a similar thought to yours. I'm just glad to be part of the Mana Affairs division. I see. Well then, shall we eat? I'll go fetch something to cut it with. My word, doesn't that just warm your heart? Look forward to. Alright, so that was case 1. It was perfect length for stream, basically. A little bit shorter than it could have been, but my voice is dead, so... Oh, speaking of which, note, when's your actual birthday? I'm not really sure. Huh? I'm an orphan, never knew my parents. Pardon. Even my name, Notrick, was given to me by my previous employer. You see, there was another guy named Rick there, and he couldn't remember, we didn't have a name, so he was like, you're Rick and you're not Rick. What's wrong with that, everyone? Nothing at all. What happened to all that energy from before? No, you're the star of the show. You should be enjoying yourself. Not really, my... Here, take this. Oh. I like her. She's stupid. She's so stupid. Congratulations! Congratulations! Congratulations because you have solved the case. Okay, they're singing happy birthday. You're really looking forward to working with you. Truly. Ryan's awkward attempt at singing continued until Thena gave him a swift kick in the shin. If I had to rate it, I'd say my welcoming party left a rather synthetic taste in my mouth. But just like that, I became an official member of the Mana Affairs division. There's no question that I felt fortunate to be welcomed as a full-fledged member. I found my place here. I also found myself thinking that more exhaustingly tedious jobs were right over the horizon. Yay! With such ridiculous feelings, they usually turn out to be wrong. Here's the report. On December 25th at 9:30 in the morning. Christmas? Christmas murder? There was a murder reported at the London branch of the Bureau. The victim's name? Who's the victim of case 2? Return to the case select screen. Alright, so this is just the demo, so... that was case 1. So I wanted to try out this demo because this game is actually on sale right now for the full version. Here's the next one. For case 2, we are not going to do this today. We're probably not even going to do this Saturday. I think I'm just going to pick up the game and see if we have to continue, or if we have to redo case 1. And in that case... we'll redo case 1, not on stream. I'll just skip through it, probably. I don't know, like, why is it showing her right now? Is she gonna be the main character of this one? That would be funny. But yeah, so that is gonna be it for this stream. We're ending a little bit, it's a little shorter than usual. I was only planning on doing the first case, because I heard that these were gonna be pretty long. So... yeah, so I'm probably going to end up picking up this game, but we're not going to play it anytime soon. I don't know what we're doing on Saturday yet, but we will have a stream on Saturday. And as I mentioned before, there's not going to be any stream on next week because of AGDQ that I will be watching, and I want to be focusing on that instead of streaming for a bit. And it's also, you know, a good time to just take a break from streaming. I think I did a pretty good job of not missing streams at all this year. Making them regular instead of whatever I used to do. It's pretty good. So yeah, we're taking a little break from streams next week. And then after that, we are going to start Tunic Tuesday. On Tuesday, the what's the week after next? Tuesday the 3rd, I think. Not the 3rd, the 13th. No? Fridays, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday the 12th. No. Tuesday the 13th. Tuesday the 13th, we will be starting Tunic, which was also on sale, and that's why I picked it up. I've been meaning to get around to it. I think there's like some weird puzzle solving, mostly puzzle solving. And then there's also some Zelda games stuck in there. We'll see how it goes. I hear it's quite difficult in a lot of ways. But yeah, that is the plan. Thank you all so much for hanging out. I really enjoyed this game. The puzzles were a little bit simple, but I'm sure that they'll get harder. They're also this is very Phoenix Wright coded in a lot of ways, even though the setting is pretty different. But yeah, that is gonna be it for me. Hope you all have a very good year, because you know it is 2026. Hope 2026 goes well for everyone. Thank you all so much for hanging out. If you want to see more of this game, let me know in the stream's about to end. You all on YouTube, we're ending this now. The rest of us on Twitch are gonna go find some other raid. So, for those of you on YouTube, if you just want to see more of this, let me know in the comments. Maybe we'll move it up a little bit. Or if you have other games to try out, maybe stuff that's on sale or free, that is like deduction based, or maybe like a nice scary game. Like I like mystery stuff. I like scary stuff. Let me know if there's anything that you think would be interesting. If you find like an itch.io game that has a lot of deduction stuff, that would be fun too. But yeah, so the rest of us on Twitch are gonna go find some raids. So hope you all on YouTube have a very good night, very good year, very good everything. I'll be seeing you sometime soon again, maybe. So have a good one. Later. Bye. All right, folks. Who will we